All right. Welcome, ladies and gentlemen, back to the Ward Radio live stream. I am your host, Cardin Ellis, and today I'm joined in the studio live by none other than Kwaku L. Wow, you look like you're about to go salsa dancing.
Yeah, look, I ran out of stuff in my suitcase, and that's why also I got to apologize for the wrinkliness of this shirt.
Are you auditioning for one of Church of Martin, for one of Pono's brands? That's a real deep cut there, bro.
I know. It's a PacSun. It just doesn't. I'm in California. It's fine. It's hot. It's like 100 degrees outside.
So
I need to breathe. It's burning hot out.
It was. I had to climb that fence when we were over at the movie studio in order to make it to the truck to get here late. Yeah, it was brutal. It's burning hot. You're burning hot. This live stream's burning hot. Please give us a like.
This topic is burning hot.
Yes, right? This topic is burning hot. Please make sure you guys give us a like as you guys come into the stream. We're glad to see everybody here. Today we're going to be talking. We're not just going to be touching that third rail. We're going to be shaking that third rail. We're going to be talking in defense of Pono, ... and Jacob, ? Tell us what's going on. Kwaku, you just lead us out, man.
So, if you've been paying attention, about 2-3 weeks ago, church posted, they post those kind of like spotlights on certain members, and the members post a testimony. Kind of like here's a glimpse into the life of someone who's LDS, and very human approaches, right? Humanizing members. So there's a guy in New York, fashion designer, named Pono, I believe.
It's not Pono?
I don't know if it's
we all just Pono. A bunch of
we don't know.
ignoramuses.
I'm trying. My name's Kwaku, and just about every journalist who's ever mentioned me has mentioned my name.
Siri says you are Kwaku whenever she announces your calls. Okay.
And Ghanaians say Kwaku. In Ghana, they say Kwaku, but the Americanized version is Kwaku, right?
Okay, awesome. All right.
So anyway, it's a cool post, but then some people, they raise an eyebrow. They go, fashion designer, New York, and they start digging. And they find out that Pono's brand has a brand called the Church of Martin, and that brand became focus of some discussions and some debates on your show, Cardin, with Jacob Hansen. And Jacob said some things that many people considered to be a little bit in poor taste. Some people considered to be spot on. The audio from Jacob, and I also believe Jackson Wayne Paul from Stick of Joseph and Latter-day Saints was put together in a video in which they were sort of criticizing the church for putting a spotlight on Pono. And I'm going to call him P, because I really don't know how to pronounce his name. I feel bad. So I'm just going to call P on P. And he used their audio, put it on the video of them
nicknames. I'm sorry to interrupt you, but there's not a lot of good nicknames anymore that go along with P, because Master P, the old school rapper, had way too many scandals associated with his name. And post P Diddy, nobody's touching P as a prefix for anything. Yeah. So we just got to figure out the correct pronunciation, and then we're gonna go.
So. Oh, crap. But even saying now P sounds silly, too, so I don't really know. But P, yeah, so that's what happened. And he posted the audio of them sort of he didn't really make a statement. He just sort of showed him getting ready for church with his friend. Kind of I'm sort of like they're criticizing me for the church showing that I exist. Here's me existing with your audio, right? Kind of like that.
Yeah, I am officially unbothered.
Right.
Actually, I'll pull it up right here. Keep
talking. But I'll say, when I was following this whole situation, I didn't think it was a huge deal, and I actually disagreed with all the people that were criticizing Pono, and all the people that were attacking the Church of Martin, his brand. I think everybody got it so wrong, and I'm here to kind of just.
Well, you can't say so wrong. I mean, come on. In the defense of the average normie, I would say, I could see why a lot of people would say, hold on a second, there's a picture of minor boys here kissing in Boy Scout uniforms, which used to be the beloved youth organization of the church. Now, I'm sympathetic to the argument also that, hey, a lot of sexuality is unlocked in your adolescent years. A lot of gay guys figured out that they were gay while they were Boy Scouts, and so on and so forth. That's part of the sexual journey of the artist.
But also, I will say though, that is something that had it been straight, it would not have been scrutinized at all. How many freaking High School Musical type movies come out every year of romance between minors and it's straight, no big deal. But the second a guy like Pono, wait, let me finish, post something which is very clearly expressionistic art from the perspective of someone who grew up Mormon, especially who's probably a Boy Scout, suddenly it's, well, you're sexualizing minors, when we all know that would not have been the case had it been a guy and a girl. So to me, there's a tinge of sprinkled homophobia on there, trying to push the conversation into the direction of, oh, is Pono some sort of predatory person? When he's obviously not. It's very clearly a guy
or is it just being fair?
No, I don't think it's being fair at all. We know that Jacob would not have made that criticism had it been a boy and a Girl Scout kissing. It'd be like, oh, look, it's cute young love. But since it's two boys and people on the right.
In Jacob's defense, he would have just said, what's the Girl Scout doing here? Or what's the girl doing?
He would not want Girl Scouts to be shown at all, okay?
Hey, what do you want? We got a spy in here from Leave Society. What's going on?
So it does seem like that they're sprinkling that homophobia on there because they want to make it seem as if he's doing something wrong.
Okay.
But there's nothing wrong with an artist.
The homophobia.
Well, that's what it is.
Phobia, come on.
Well, that's what it is. Colloquially, that's what it is. They saw if that was a boy and a girl, by the way, and a cartoon on a shirt, not a big deal. If it was a boy and a girl, they wouldn't have thought twice about it. But now they're upset that Pono was spotlighted by the church because he is ideologically and socially different from a lot of these critics on X. I'm going to call it Twitter. It doesn't be called X. On Twitter.
Okay.
And so they're looking for any way they can to defame him and make him seem like a bad person or seem as if he's some sort of villain. So they take innocent art, which is very clearly expressionistic art of a young Mormon who is probably gay, growing up as a Boy Scout, and maybe had a crush on another one. That's what he's doing.
Well, okay,
there's
but hold
nothing
on.
wrong with
The reason I say I don't think it's innocent is not because I'm actually trying to besmirch Pono or Big P or whatever we're going to be calling him, right?
Honestly, if we're pronouncing it wrong, I'm really sorry. But I
grew
up with the name Kwaku, so I feel like they know I'm not. It's not. It's coming from an out of place.
Gordon, Carson, Carter, Cardigan. Both of our names have been butchered for 3,000 years.
We're not trying to be mean by this.
Yeah, we are definitely not trying to be mean. But I would say I take issue with the idea that this is just innocent representation. There was, he meant nothing by it. Actually, I would say from a marketing perspective, he totally meant something by it. But by the way,
but what did he mean? What did he mean?
Oh, come on. You kind of want to dig in. You want to be edgy. You don't want to be come on.
No. I'm gonna challenge you in this. Why is it edgy for a gay person? Seemingly, we don't know, but I'm assuming he's part of the LGBT community.
If you are disingenuously asking that question, if you don't know why it's
no. He could be bi. Who knows? He could be straight. I don't know. We don't know the guy, right? But why is it edgy to just have depiction of innocent romance between two gay people? Why is that considered edgy?
Okay, because you're putting the word. Okay, right now we are relitigating homosexuality and not the actual situation.
But why is that picture edgy? Because I didn't think that was edgy.
Okay, it's first off,
we're in the era of Sophie Rain. You think that picture's edgy? Come on.
No, I would say within the Mormon community and Pono via the post, not necessarily by his own choosing, but by the choosing of the PR department that decided to put him out there as the proverbial poster boy, was saying this was the representation of our church. So what's so funny is my only beef with this whole thing is I actually...
is it the representation of the church, or is it saying here is a person in the church?
I would say it's we all have to be smart and understand when the church puts something out on their official page.
Yeah.
It's de facto poster boyism. That's what it is.
Okay, sure.
It's kind of de facto. And so to me, it's obviously, if you're trying to market a brand that's on that edge, okay, between what's socially acceptable, what's not, what's taboo, what's not, and you decide that, okay, this is the brand that I want to represent. It's called Church of Martin. We got Gay Scouts America here. To me, I think, okay, don't say you're not trying to be edgy, because you are trying to be edgy. I don't actually think being edgy is the problem. My only beef was I just think that it gets really annoying when I see very good and faithful members considered too controversial for church media. Okay? But then you can't go 2 or 3 clicks deep until you find this. And I'm just okay, well, either we need to do one of two things. start
I can't see it on
recognizing.
the screen, so I'm not sure what you're.
It's just the Instagram profile.
Oh, okay.
You know what I'm saying? And specifically the images that often got recycled. For me, we need to do one of two things, and my ire actually has nothing to do with Pono. It has nothing to do with him. In fact,
but when Jacob's on the show, he's like, and they're presenting this femi fashion designer. What about all the straight men who feel like we don't belong at church now? And it's like,
okay, well, no, we'll
come
analyze what he said.
Jacob, come on.
Well, a lot of what he said, I think, was very, very true. We can nitpick what wasn't afterwards, but I'm just trying to be fair here and represent everything, okay? And I'm losing my freaking train of thought without chemo brain, by the way. But anyway,
congratulations.
I was just gonna say that when I saw the Pono post, at first I remember thinking like, okay, are we leaning into the meme here, just trying to kind of do what the corporate HR person would recommend this month, right? Or is this like, a genuine highlight of somebody awesome? And I read what he has to say, and I'm thinking like, okay, you know what, this is cool. And I actually thought, my second thought was, good on Pono for being willing to put his name on the Church of Jesus Christ of Latter-day Saints, because I lived in New York. It's a unique place, and there's natural headwinds against members of the church. First is ignorance. Most people don't know a single Mormon, and they think that we're just like Quakers, but just out west. We're mountain Jews to these guys, right? And four, post-Prop 8, there's generally a widespread belief that like, Mormons, anti-gay, right?
And so I'm sure the last video totally helped with that.
Yeah. Oh, we're dispelling myths left and right here.
Goodness gracious.
And I thought, well, good on him, because he was taking a risk probably in his friend group and amongst his fashion designer buddies, saying so loud and proud that, hey, I'm Mormon. And a lot of people don't like it when I have this take. And I get that it's a very unpopular take, because I have the same take with Dan McClellan. No matter what you hate about Dan McClellan's politics, his point of view on the Bible, on history, on ethics, or whatever, when asked, what group do you belong to? Without batting an eye, he says, I am a member of the Church of Jesus Christ of Latter-day Saints. And he claims it, and he's loud and proud. And there's something about being numbered amongst the believers. When asked, you say without batting an eye, I'm a loyalty guy. I have respect for that. And so when I saw the Pono post, my first thought was indeed, what are we pushing here? What's going on? I see where Jacob's coming from. But then my second thought was, yeah, well, you know what? This Pono guy, he's doing something, and I bet you he's taking a risk. So freaking good on him, too. I was 50-50. Again, I'm like this hybrid, right?
Well,
so,
I just think that if it's controversial for someone to have a clothing brand in which they have art that's reminiscent of their experience, and you say, oh, it's controversial, how dare you ever talk about or make any sort of art with your lived experience of your life. To me, if you're opposed to someone doing that, that's control freak syndrome.
Okay,
that's
would you admit that a reasonable person that thinks differently than you, but is still a reasonable person within the Overton window of thought, could reasonably take issue with imagery like this without being a bigot?
Yeah, look, some bishop in Declo, Idaho, obviously is going to not be like, yeah, I'm not a fan of it.
Amongst the average populace of people we know that are wholly decent in every way, can you admit
if they saw
that
a
regular person could take issue with some of this imagery?
Well, I can't see the imagery up.
Well, it's on the screen.
The screen's not on.
Oh, gosh.
Yeah, I've been looking at nothing the whole time. Sorry.
What? It's not on for you?
It's not on. It's black. I don't see anything on the.
Oh, well, turn it on. It's
technical difficulties, guys.
Yeah, seriously, that's embarrassing. Here, give me. Oh,
Benjamin Netanyahu hacked the.
Oh, dude, I've never had a chance to do this before. Hold on a second. Look at this. I made this graphic like a year ago and never used it. Hold on 30 seconds. We'll be right back, Rapid. Is the TV not on?
Mm-mm.
Here, turn on the computer, I guess.
Is it this?
the heck? Okay, hold on. Hold on, I'll take it right here. Do they turn on? Okay. All right. Well, we got my son in here, who's gonna be crawling underneath you, trying to figure out what's going on, bro. So I put him to work. All right. Anyway, keep saying what you were saying, Kwaku.
Well, yeah, I don't think it rings true that Pono's brand is controversial. It's only controversial if you consider someone just making art about their life experience that is not vulgar, that is not even sexual, and you're going, oh, it's wrong for them to even showcase that. To me, that I think you're walking on the lines of prejudice there. It's kind of like, in movies where they'll have like a Puerto Rican guy and an Irish girl in a cartoon, and people go, can you believe this? This is all this propaganda. It's like, why is it propaganda?
Well, we all have to admit the redheads. We just got to.
Okay, yeah.
Come on.
Most of the redheads are actually in Scotland.
Come on.
Most Irish are brunette.
Okay, cool.
But really, it's like there is a tacit bigotry that's there because you believe that the norm should exclude anybody who doesn't look and live like you, which to me makes you stupid. But that's how a lot of people are operating. And so you look at this brand, and there's nothing really
crazy. What's the limit of that, though? What's the limit of that? Because I could walk into any prison.
Is there anything overtly sexual or violent or dark-spirited about his brand?
I would argue having I Love My Mormon Boy, which is generally perceived as a youth song in the Church of Jesus Christ of Latter-day Saints.
Right.
Okay, it's sung amongst maids, which, it was like the maid anthem of the 70s or something, all right, during the McConkie era. To then make that an adult edgy, sexualized brand.
Wait, pause. There it is, though. I don't think he's doing that. It's very clear his whole thing.
Dude, the latest thing is literally, I Love My Mormon Boy. I'll put it up on the screen
you know
right
what I
now.
did, Carden? I put his brand into AI and said, can you explain the Church of Martin from the website and the post?
Wait, but you used to say that AI was full of demons.
Yeah, in our conspiracy era when it was funny, okay? But now the conspiracy theorists are getting kind of scary.
So what did the demons say about Church of Martin?
And AI later said, from a cursory view, it seems that Church of Martin is an LGBTQ-based expressionistic clothing brand in which the designer is reminiscing on his childhood as a gay Mormon. Duh.
Okay.
Duh. So for him to say, I love my Mormon boy, yeah, he's taking the joke like, when he was a kid, all the girls were singing that, I love my Mormon boy, he is my right?
And then turning it into part
and he
of
was
the
like,
joke.
well, I love a Mormon boy too. And he's making like, it's a callback to that. It's not sexual or vulgar. But if your mindset is anything gay, anything rainbow, sex and bad, 1, check your hard drive. 2, you're a little bit prejudiced.
Why check your hard drive?
Because if you see a cartoon of 2 guys kissing and you're like, bro, this is so sexual, and
I was aghast when I found out Nick Fuentes was gay. That was kind of wild.
You didn't know that from the get-go? Come on. But like, it's like, look, when there's a like, if you're in Scottsdale, Arizona, and you're at the Fashion Place Mall and you see 2 guys holding hands, and your immediate thought is gay sex, my question is, why is that your immediate thought?
Okay.
If you see 2 dudes holding hands and your next thought is them having sex, I don't know how to break this to you, but I think you might be a little bit gay. I think you like men a little bit, which is okay. But you shouldn't react in such, let it be. Just let it be. Don't go crazy.
So
don't start angrily ranting on anonymous accounts on Twitter like a psychopath.
Okay.
It doesn't work to me. If this was some sort of, look, for example, Tyler Glenn, Neon Trees, right?
Yeah.
When Tyler Glenn decided, when he left the church and he made that whole album, Excommunication, which is really sad because there's one song there called Midnight, which is actually a really good song, but then the rest of the album's like, I feel dirty listening to it. He was doing sacred temple tokens in the music video. He spat on a picture of Joseph Smith. He was being disrespectful to the faith on purpose, okay? That deserves scrutiny and ire. This is nowhere like that, and they're treating it like it is.
So you don't think that?
I don't think gay people existing in art
faith.
or media, not at all. Gay people existing in art and media and telling stories or being expressionistic about their lived experience is completely fine, and to deny them that is a form of bigotry and prejudice. Going out of your way to be like, I love my Mormon boy, and it was like, porn or something. It's like, oh, okay, that's disrespectful. He's not doing that.
Some might say that the disjointed stick figure art was pornographic. No,
like the cavemen, when the archaeologists are like, we have pictures of pornography from 2 million years ago of this cave scratching. Shut up. Also, I don't want to get off track. You guys know I don't believe in dinosaurs and everything, right? And so it's like, look, man.
Well, what sound-minded person does?
I think dinosaurs are silly. There's no way they're real. But it's kind of like, hey, caveman drawings on a.
By the way, I bet you all of Pono's friends or Pono's friends that just tuned in right now are like, "Go Kwaku! Yeah, hell yeah! It's just a bunch of bigotry. Yeah, we exist. Yeah. Oh, he doesn't think dinosaurs are real.
Don't make the dinosaur denier defend us. Why is the dinosaur denier defending us, guys? Guys, stop! No. I love gay people and pterodactyls were fake. It's like, oh gosh, is this the best they got, World Radio?
I love pterodactyls. No. I love gay people and pterodactyls are fake. That is, hey, we need to start our own brand.
I'm going to put that on a shirt.
We need to start our own brand.
It has to be in the back so as you're walking, people are like, I'm very confused by the shirt this man is wearing. Yeah. I need to talk to him about this. I don't quite understand it. Why, what do gay people have to do with pterodactyls? I don't know. Anyway, that's my. Oh wait, and here's my other response. Okay, so and everyone knows I criticize Jacob, but I love Jacob. Jacob's a friend of mine.
Well, I think he got some undue criticism.
Anything on Twitter is a nightmare. Let's be fair. That whole website is run by psychopaths.
I don't think he did himself any favors, but I also think that there's like Jacob Hansen derangement syndrome out there. Where people think that anything that cat says is like straight up bigotry. I'm like, no, I don't think it is. Like, I think he took issue with what generally most people perceive as incompetence of the church. Like, dude, how many times have we suggested different media campaigns? People have said it's a great idea. Oh, we want to launch this. Oh, we want to launch that. And for one reason or another, like, I know people that have like been denied. They scrutinize us like crazy.
Right.
They scrutinize us like crazy, and not a single one of us would ever get highlighted by the church. And we've been told point blank, because
we
once,
probably would. I don't think they'd not do it.
I don't get that.
They generally don't choose influencers.
Yeah, sure, fine. But then one would argue, okay, well, no, he's obviously got an influencer brand, right? I can see why people say, hey, wait a second. Like, we need to do one of two things. Either we just accept that we're a diverse group of people and we've got edgy ones on both sides of the spectrum and we highlight them all and both equally in kind of the I Am a Mormon campaign kind of way, Or we just say we're only choosing people with unimpeachable past and we understand that this might yield a very boring talent pool and we go that way. But when you only highlight what is kind of perceived as people with an edginess that's acceptable in the modern kind of corporatized neoliberal way, it seems like you're just another
the wheel. Go look at the majority of those highlights. Almost all of them are normal, not controversial, nothing flashy at all. It's only that the ones where someone has, their wife goes to college and incels get mad.
Wait, are you trying to say that the Pono's not a controversial character?
I do not believe his highlight was controversial, nor do I believe his posts are controversial. No, I don't.
I don't think his highlight, the actual substance of the highlight, was controversial.
I don't think it's so.
I do think though, yes, he is, because he's trying to market his brand and like good on him. If I were a fashionista, I'd be trying to do the same thing.
That's not controversial. Is Taylor Frankie Paul throwing chairs at people? Bono is not controversial.
Well, then he needs to step up his game.
But I want to respond to what you said.
Other gay guy he does the posts with, they need to start throwing chairs at each other.
No. But what you said, though, is like...
his brand would take off.
When the church does those highlights, we're pretending as if they're only highlighting like feminist professors and gay fashion designers, and they're not. The majority of the people have nothing flashy at all within their testimonies.
Actually, let's look back. Yeah, let's do just like
and
a little
we're reinventing the wheel
audit
by not being truthful about how the church highlights are. And if the fact is you get angry and upset anytime somebody in the church is highlighted as a member of the church because they're different than you, to me that makes you low IQ and prejudiced.
But I don't think Jacob was getting angry. I didn't sense he was getting angry.
I'm not speaking directly to Jacob. I'm speaking directly
You're
to
just
all
saying
the people.
in general. Okay.
Yeah. But check the Discord, because this is a really important next part that I posted in the Discord chat. The screenshot I just uploaded.
Oh, okay, cool. Because I just pulled this out. Oh, so look, 6 hours ago a new one came up. The Church of Jesus Christ of Latter-day Saints. I didn't grow up with everything feeling easier to study. There was a lot of heaviness in my childhood, depression, hard experiences, and moments where I wanted to be something in the future. Looking back, I see Heavenly Father, this and that. And then a girl, is this another East Coaster too? Looks somewhere like, I don't know, Boston-y, Atlanta, Georgia-y. Somewhere, I don't think that's West Coast. But anyway, okay, you say that there's a link just got put into the Discord. Okay, it's up on the screen. Talk,
okay,
man.
so this is Jacob's post I'm criticizing here. He said, Pono needs to stop creating contention with posts that clearly attack the church's doctrine on sexuality. Okay. So to me, this is sort of an ethos of the reaction. Now, if there was...
Okay, wait, but you don't see exactly what he's doing by this? He's taking the nomenclature of the niceness culture police that say that he's out of line and now translating it into the way that they speak. Because they say, for example...
Nah, I don't think so.
Jacob Hansen needs to stop creating contention with posts that clearly attack the church's doctrine on peacemaking. So now he literally is just taking out the word Jacob Hansen, replacing it with Pomo, and instead of saying peacemaking, putting in sexuality. All he is doing...
I don't think so.
He's doing the exact same thing Pono did with his showing I'm not bothered. That this is all social media warfare, bruh.
I don't know how you can make that connection. To me, that's gobbledygook.
No, what do you mean gobbledygook? It's obvious.
No sense.
This sentence is the sentence that is rubbed in our faces as podcasters.
Where?
All the time. Oh, I get this crap. This is something Jim
Give me
Bennett.
one example.
This is probably literally a quote from him and his debate with Jim Bennett on.
Just give me one. Give me one example.
Jim Bennett all the time criticizes Jacob Hansen, saying Jacob Hansen needs to stop creating contention with posts that clearly attack the church's doctrines on doctrines on peacemaking or on this or that.
So what? So
that's
so now,
he's taking a quote out of the book, bro.
Okay, so he's taking a quote out of the book, possibly from Jim Bennett against Pono, a guy who's never been involved in the debate.
No, but this is the demonstration. Look, just like I get the joke. It's kind of funny. When Pono comes
how about
out
let's respond to what he says
as
opposed to responding in the translation you think he's saying, okay? Because
what else are we supposed to do other than interpret his post?
Let's read the words. Because if I read these words, and the words that are written say, Pono needs to stop creating contention with posts that clearly attack the church's doctrine on sexuality, this picture is not doing that. If there was a temple in the back and they were wearing, the endowment robes, you can make an argument there, for sure, a strong argument. He's not doing that. If merely two gay guys existing on a screen is attacking the church, you're just straight up saying the fact that you exist, I think, is an attack on my belief, which is sociopathic. And I don't think Jacob is a sociopath, which is why he's going to not talk like this. So the next question I have is fine. Let's grant that that's true. So either Jacob believes this or you think he's being facetious and doesn't, okay? Now, if you're right, I'm hoping he's being facetious. He doesn't believe that two gay guys just existing on screen and kissing is an attack on the church.
No,
but why aren't other
he's
things
not like that? He's got family members that are gay
exactly,
that he does a lot to get. He bends over backwards.
If you think he's being ironic here and really just attacking late 2010s woke schools as opposed to attacking Pono,
I understand the humor of this.
Bringing Pono into it, a man who's never been in the debate.
Well, okay, I understand Jacob Hansen's post here as a humorous kind of counterpunch to niceness culture, which is oppressive and toxic in my opinion, just as much as I understand this post.
I still can't see him.
It's the one of Pono getting ready with his... I got to fix your screen. I don't know. Maybe we'll have an intermission or something. But I understand...
Yeah, but the difference is Pono's is a response. It wasn't the initial. And so judging the response by the initial, to me, it doesn't really measure up the same.
Okay, sure.
Right? Because it's not like Pono.
At the end of the day, the people that started this were the church office building, neither Pono nor Jacob, or Pono nor Jacob. I apologize to Pono, and Pono for just a mass apology right now. Hey, but we also have to give ourselves credit. We reached out to these guys on all their platforms that we could over the past 48 hours to try and get them on the show. And I think it's important that we say that to the audience, to show that we do our due diligence to try and make sure that everybody gets kind of equal airtime and do equal representation of their opinions on this program. That's why it's called Ward Radio and not Elders Quorum Radio.
Well, here's the thing. If this ethos, though, is correct for people saying, this is an attack on the church's doctrine and sexuality and so on and so forth, if we open that door and we are now saying gay relationships, gay marriage, gay love is an attack on the church, you have opened up a door that nobody wants to walk into. The mere existence
thereof is not. The mere existence they're not.
Exactly, I agree.
But when you twist tolerance of the mere existence into thou shalt promote it as an affirmative good or you are a bigot, that's when it gets toxic, that's when it gets woke, and that's what people are tired of. Does that make sense?
Yeah, but I don't think Pono did that.
No, I don't think in the beginning he did. I kind of wished he hadn't done the whole respond to Jacob thing, only because then I think that there would have been some moral high ground maintained there somewhat. But
that's silly. That's silly. The response was us getting ready for church and the audio of them basically saying, we don't think you should be highlighted by the church.
Right, what was Jackson's voice? I didn't recognize that.
I don't know. Apparently it was at the end. No. Okay. You lose no moral high ground by just saying, oh, I'm going to go to church. I'm getting ready for it with my friend. How dare you do that to the audio of the thing I said?
Sure, fair enough.
There's no losing moral high ground there. But I think it's part of a bigger conversation. And this is the part where you're going to get people going to get mad. They're going to get mad. Here's what it is. I'm getting annoyed at the pearl-clutching, angry small-town mom who's never done anything exciting with her life and bored dads who hate everything in the world that's different than them and pretend like some sins, which are not what we're claiming they are, and ignoring others. So, for example, when you read the New Testament and you read Jesus Christ, what Jesus Christ has to say about gay people, LGBT, 0. In the Book of Mormon, mentions it 0 times. When Christ comes in Zarahemla, Sermon of the Temple, mentions it 0 times. In the Doctrine and Covenants, Joseph Smith, the Lord tells Joseph Smith that there's going to be a war between the North and the South. At the beginning of the rebellion of South Carolina in Doctrine and Covenants, Section 87, Joseph Smith predicts so much of the future, and he describes overwhelmingly how society will be destroyed. Mentions homosexuality, gayness, 0 times. So it's not named by Jesus. It's not named by the prophet Joseph Smith. It's not named in the Book of Mormon or the Restoration Scriptures. It's named in Levitical law and kinda by Paul. And both those debates are if they're talking about pagan temple boy prostitutes as opposed to consensual, LGBT relationships. So it's like, why are we now pretending that's the biggest thing ever in the world? Right now in the church, there are people calling for Pono to be excommunicated because of his
that's a little
brand.
bit crazy.
Yeah, they're freaks. But guess what? Those people exist. They're saying he should be excommunicated for the... I got a question.
No, he should be excommunicated for having an exaggerated flare in his pants. All right,
yeah, what are you so against?
It was the seaming. It wasn't double stitch.
When
it was single
Bachelor
stitch,
had on the,
and that is lazy. That is lazy. Design. He should have come back with a serger, tapered off the end.
But that's why you're not. That's why you're not the fashion designer. Hey, remember Bachelor had sequins in his pants, and you were like, "What's with the pants?"
Those weren't sequins. Those were like LED spotlights. Like that was like RuPaul's Drag Race.
You got a lot of
steroids.
You got a lot of anger toward pants. Okay,
I'm just kidding.
So it makes you wonder. Right now in the church, more people. If you were to poll people right now in the church, if you are, in a gay relationship,
I will give no quarter to men that are better looking than me and in better shape than me.
Yeah, okay. You're in a gay relationship in the church. More people call for you to be excommunicated and disciplined. But you can still you can enlist in the military and join a corrupt war and go across the world and bomb schools and mass kill innocent people, Abu Ghraib, you name it, and no one's going to call for you to be excommunicated. You can overtly violate what Jesus tells you not to do.
That's a really interesting question. Like, we kind of
Since World War II, we don't need to be in any of those wars been in.
We do kind of just automatically think like, oh, hey, like America good, being in military noble, righteous hand of God.
Even though Joseph Smith literally said the headquarters of the demon of war in the United States.
And how do you wrestle with that as Christians? So, look who's calling me, bro.
I can't see.
Jacob Hansen.
Hey, there it is.
Should I let him in?
Let him on.
You want to let him on?
Let him on.
Okay, hold on. I'm going to create a little Zoom link. I guarantee you he's watching, so hold on. I will create a Zoom link. Should I actually, everybody in the chat, this is what I want to know. Everybody in the chat, should we let Jacob on? I mean, he got his chance before, but you know,
let him on. Look,
you two can go to town on each other.
This is in defense of Pono. So anyway,
and Jacob, he's on the thumbnw. We love Jacob just like we
Jacob
love
is
Pono.
not some psycho Desnat here, right? Who's trying to, So to be clear about that. But yeah, I mean, it is interesting
I
how
just pressed yes.
Okay.
Let's see what happens.
But it is interesting, though. It's interesting that you can literally be a part of war crimes and mass murder. Totally fine. Take the sacrament. You're a gay guy in love with another guy. How dare you? How dare you put it on a shirt? Like, aren't our priorities so backward? How come we're not more upset about that?
If Pono would just embrace the military-industrial complex so he were more righteous, like maybe instead of having gay Boy Scouts, having like dudes with AR-15s, like just...
Maybe
it'd be more righteous, right?
He should just be selling things to Northrop Grumman and Lockheed Martin. Why not?
It's called the defense industry for a reason, Kwaku. Okay, we've got
under
Jacob
the Department
here.
of War. Department of War by Pete
Yeah,
Hegseth.
Yeah.
Good grief.
Okay, so hold on. I gotta
I know
make
the comment
sure
section
that
is losing their minds right now.
I haven't even looked at the comment section yet. I'm like mortified.
Kick Kwaku off the show. He's a Marxist. He's a Marxist.
Okay, hold on. All right, we are going to welcome back into the Ward Radio Wigwam. Hold on a second. It's one of my pride and joys in life that I have a friend as crazy and liberal as Kwaku L, and simultaneously
I don't even think I'm that liberal though.
In some things, like all of us are very liberal in one thing at least. And
but I'm just big on consistency. My thing is the argument has to make sense and it has to be consistent. And I do feel like people start unfairly challenging LGBTQ people when it isn't, like just their mere existence on a shirt. If that's considered triggering to you, like you're a wimp.
Well, here to argue why labor camps are the moderate position, Jacob Hansen. No, I'm just kidding. All right, Jacob is in the studio. You're on screen, Jacob.
I'm not.
All right, can you hear me?
Yeah, we can hear you.
Okay, well, hold on. Let's just get something cleared up here first and foremost.
I'm gonna have to watch him on the YouTube.
Kwaku, I have a question. Are Boy Scouts over the age of 18?
Well, Boy Scouts don't even exist anymore. But
I know. I just wanted to know. So if you have, let's say you have two Boy Scouts who are under the age of
I mean, they're
18,
kids, right? They're kids
kissing each other. Two males that are underage kissing each other. What do you think is like? These are literally underage boys engaging in sexual activity. On screen, homosexual activity. Are you familiar with the connections between the homosexual community and the Boy Scouts?
Okay. I'll answer your question,
and the
Jacob.
Fantasies associated with it. Are you at all?
Jacob,
now,
in the same
quick,
way.
Kwaku, just a quick thing. I just want to make sure we're clear. Because Pono
first,
said
it's hard to debate you right now. I can't even see you on the screen, and I can barely hear you.
He uses clothing to tell stories. What do you think the story what's he trying to communicate with young boys kissing each other?
Okay, I know.
The gay community.
Okay, can I answer? Okay, in the exact same way.
What did Jesus say about those who abuse children?
Well, I think it's one thing I don't think it's necessarily abuse. That's
Underage, fantasizing about underage,
Jacob,
14. Most Boy Scouts are, ages 12 to 15. Are you aware about the
Jacob,
sexual sort of fantasy?
I've never met two
people
that just can't not go hard in the paint.
Jacob, you asked one question and then you started singing the Star Spangled Banner. Okay, so I got to be able to answer what's happening here. Okay,
I bring this up because you're saying that just imagining he's existing. Okay, hold on.
Wait. Can I got to answer first. We got to. There's too much. Okay, so first,
kind of rhetorical question.
In the same way, Zac Efron and Vanessa Hudgens were minors in a High School Musical. It doesn't mean we were promoting minors going to the gym and getting it on with each other. Of course not. That's silly, right? This is not him saying like, well, I am very excited to encourage grown men and young. This isn't a Chris Hansen episode. He's very clearly kind of making an homage to his childhood. And then the other thing is,
to his childhood.
Are you aware of the issue between high school educators and some of these minor age people? Why on earth, in the era where teachers are diddling their students so much, would you ever have two minors on camera in a movie kissing? Like, you can make the same thing, but what you're more horrified by is the fact that it is gay. To be fair, that's
no. Well, certainly in the gospel of Jesus Christ, homosexual relationships are inherently sinful. So there is a difference in things that are naturally.
Look, you can bring on Dan McClellan for you to debate that one with. All right,
go ahead. I'll debate anyone on that. My point is this: is that when you have a brand that intentionally is advertising the sexualization, the homosexual behavior amongst underage individuals.
Pause. It's not though. It's not. I really
so what
don't
do you
think
think? What do you think that the picture of the two Boy Scouts
it's very
kissing
clearly,
each other under a rainbow? What do you think that's trying to encourage?
I think it's a gay guy who grew up Mormon, who was a Boy Scout, making a little bit of art reminiscent of what happened in his life.
Are you familiar with sort of the Mormon boy kink fetish amongst the gay community?
Of course I'm not. I didn't. Why are you?
Actually, I've seen some. Hold on. I've seen some hilarious. I took some screenshots, and I'm actually kind of proud. One of the screenshots of one of the comments was like the most hilarious thing. Somebody said, "As a gay man, I have to tell you that Mormon missionaries are the Catholic schoolgirls of the gay community." I was like, hey, man, maybe I was looking good on my mission.
Cardin,
all right, I was looking good.
Maybe Kwaku just isn't aware.
Wait. Pause. Time out.
Now here's the thing. I have no problem with homosexual people. Whatever.
Gay
this guy is, if you are a member of the church and you promote publicly things that are contrary to the doctrines and practices of the church, you are committing acts of apostasy. If I were a member of the church who is promoting a brand that encourages and takes pride in homosexual acts and behavior, I am engaging in apostasy.
Okay, Jacob.
Yeah, but I don't think so.
Hold on. I'm not gonna litigate what's apostasy and what's not apostasy, but I did previously defend you, and I want to know if I was correct on this. When you put up that quote, Pono needs to stop. There's a screenshot. I'm putting it on the screen here so people can see it again. That Pono needs to stop creating contention with posts.
Pono, by the way.
It's Pono.
Hawaiian.
Okay.
Pono.
Pono.
I've been saying his name wrong.
Pono means like cool, or I think it means like cool, or like awesome.
Oh yeah, it means righteous. No, it said that in the post. Yeah, we've been saying it wrong. So anyway, it's Pono. You say, right?
Yeah, Pono. It's like it's something that's good or righteous, or I think it's the opposite of kapu, which is like off limits and bad and taboo.
Oh. Well, that's what happens when you go to BYU Hawaii, apparently. Good job, bro.
I took a Hawaiian studies class.
Oh, shut up. Really?
It's required. It's a requirement if you go there.
Oh, that's awesome. So anyway, Thoughtful Faith, it says, Amen. Pono needs to stop creating contention with posts that clearly attack the church's doctrine on sexuality. To me, you are lampooning in that post the nomenclature of niceness culture that constantly comes after guys like you and me, always saying like, oh, Cardin needs to stop creating contention with posts and podcasts that clearly attack the church's doctrine on peacemaking or whatever, right? So you're turning.
No, I would let me clarify what I mean by that post. What I mean by that post is this.
No, Quick was right. It's exactly what I mean.
when you no, this is how it goes. It's very simple, guys. It's like this. The church has a doctrine. Okay, the church's doctrine on sexuality is quite clear. Correct? Any sexual behavior outside of a male-female marriage is prohibited, and when you are trying to morally legitimize homosexual behavior and you encourage others to normalize it, you create confusion around our doctrines. And that creates contention, because when the more confusion you have, the more contention there is.
Okay,
Because-
I was exactly right. Okay, so we got to break this apart. And Jacob, I can't see you on the screen here, so it's kind of hard for me to engage right now because I literally can't see you, so I don't know when
Actually,
you're trying
I'm
to
going
talk.
to give you. I'm going to give you a different screen. Keep talking to him.
Okay, yeah, because the biggest issue right now with our dialogue is I can't see you, man.
I know, but Kwaku, I know.
Okay,
here's
so-
the problem, though. I know if you can't see me, then you can't lampoon something about my looks, which I know, I know that you're going to do.
I
that.
was
You're gonna be
this
like,
close
"You're
to
wearing
buying
flannel,
a
and
John
you
Deere
look like
trucker
Matt
hat
Walsh."
and trying to like grow a beard just for this, just so I could like play you in this one here. Oh, there we go. Fine. Okay, great. So my issue with this is, one, if we open the gate where even the depiction of gay people being in love, doing whatever, is considered an attack, we are walking into territory of being overtly bigoted, like 100%.
No,
and we don't want to wear
here's the
that
thing.
hat.
Why would a member of the church ever want to try and normalize something that is not considered normal or correct within the church's teachings?
Well, you could ask the exact same thing toward toward Emma Smith's uncle, who was in a mixed race relationship, and
yeah, but
Yeah,
that's
there's nothing wrong with
not
mixed.
allowed.
There's nothing wrong. There's nothing wrong with the mixed race relationship.
Well, according to Brigham Young, there is.
Yeah, you're right, and we're not in the era. of
But that was
Brigham Young,
actually a reversal
and
of
this
Joseph
is the thing.
Smith.
But
Correct.
the point is, though,
That's
but
a
we're
terrible
operating
analogy.
under the assumption
Here's the difference.
that
the difference is that you believe that homosexual behavior is not actually inherently sinful. If we were to normalize, for instance, racial bigotry, you would have a problem with that. You would think that that's wrong. We shouldn't normalize racial
you're losing
bigotry
the plot
because
here
racial
because
bigotry is wrong.
at one point, for still the majority of our church's history, racial prejudice was a part of doctrine,
You're right. So
and it
what's
was
your point? That
accepted
we're wrong today
by
about
priesthood
homosexual
authority.
behavior being inherently sinful? Is that what you think?
Ask that again.
So are you implying that we are wrong about homosexual behavior being inherently sinful and that gay marriage should actually be accepted by the church? Is that what you're implying?
Well, I'm saying it's definitely up for debate because people like
No, it's not up
Charlie
for
Bird
debate.
are
that's
faithful members
that's
of the
ridiculous.
church. No,
What
it's
is-
not. No,
that is
hear me out.
an absurd statement.
People like
It
Charlie
is
and
not up for
Ryan
debate.
are faithful
What
members
is-
of the church who are married, and the church is
Kwaku,
clearly okay
what
with
does the
it right
Doctrine
now.
and Covenants say about exaltation? Can you be exalted outside of a male-female marriage? According to
well,
the Doctrine and Covenants. of the
according
church.
according to Doctrine and Covenants 132, you must be sealed in the temple. However,
and
we
you
both
also
know
must be no. And
Alvin Smith was never sealed in the temple, and he was also seen in the Doctrine and Covenants in the celestial kingdom, specifically had never made covenants, and Joseph wondered why. Right? So we know it's not just if you ain't sealed together, man and woman, you're not going to make it. That's clearly not the case for Alvin Smith.
Did God command mankind to multiply and replenish the earth? Is that a commandment from God?
Well, yeah, absolutely.
Okay, so if you don't obey all the commandments, can you be exalted? Can you reach your full potential? How many commandments can we disobey and still receive the celestial kingdom?
I think we all disobey most of the commandments at one point.
Yeah, you're right, but we have to repent of that. How much
Right.
sin is allowed in the celestial kingdom? Deliberate disobeying of God's commandments.
Well, I mean, it's a trick question because obviously no sin is allowed in heaven. However,
Correct. And one of the and so
wait,
is it a
let
commandment
me finish. You're leading the witness. You're leading the witness. Okay. First thing is, obviously, most people in the world are heterosexual and are straight. Okay, so doctrinally speaking, the precedent
most
is
people
for
in other parts of Los Angeles. Yeah.
Okay. So, however, we don't know exactly how the cosmology of heavenly marriage works. We know Joseph was sealing everybody together for one eternal family. We know Brigham believed in getting sealed to create
but we
spirit
do
babies.
know this.
Right?
Could I
we
read
don't know
something real quick
the
about what we do know?
Well,
Because you
let me
haven't
finish.
quoted
Let me
any.
finish.
You haven't.
The
Quaker,
heavenly
you haven't quoted any
functionality.
scripture right now.
Well,
You
I'm
haven't
about to.
quoted any
Okay.
Okay.
I'm about to. Okay.
Okay.
Okay. However, the functional process of deification in regard to the sealing ceremony, we do not know how that works. Okay. So my answer is God does say the first thing He says when the world is perfect, when sin has not entered the world, when He sees Adam alone, He says it is not good for man to be alone. And our current message to gay members of the church is it's good for you to be alone.
No, it isn't.
Or marry someone you're unattracted to. So be alone and miserable, or marry someone you're unattracted to.
Okay, tell that to
It's
Timber
not
Howard.
a winning strategy, and we
Tell
wonder.
it to all the people in mixed orientation marriages. You just saying that they're just not living their authentic life.
Well,
that they're doing
statistically
something wrong?
speaking, those marriages fail.
Good. Okay. Well, let me.
I'm not
read
trying to be
the
a jerk,
actual
but
doctrine.
statistically
Let me
speaking,
read-
they don't last.
Well,
would
actually,
you be
no,
willing to
that's-
sacrifice? Would you be willing to sacrifice your sexual impulses for the kingdom of God?
Well, I have. Okay, I have. Okay, Jacob.
Okay, cool. So at what point does that rule go away?
But I know at one point I can get married, and I will be able
Okay,
to.
well, but hold on.
You're
Also-
right, but let me read
but
real
now
quick.
we're
Let me
also-
just-
okay.
Hold on. I want to read this because we should just read what the
but the
scriptures actually say.
litigation of homosexuality. Let's end this in the next 2 minutes because I want to get back to the subject at hand.
No, let me do this. So
Okay.
it says very clearly in our scriptures. I don't know what Quaku's thinking because it says in Doctrine and Covenants 131, 1 through 4. It's clear as day. It says in the celestial glory there are 3 heavens or degrees, and in order to obtain the highest, a man must enter into this order of the priesthood, meaning the new and everlasting covenant of marriage. Marriage is defined by God and the church as the union between a man and a woman.
But you're
And
skirting.
a person cannot obtain their full potential.
Brother
in celestial
Hansen,
glory
Brother Hansen, you're skirting.
unless you enter into that covenant.
Brother Hansen, you're
That's our
skirting though.
doctrine. We can't run from it.
That doctrine was written about polygamy.
No, it was not. The new and everlasting covenant of marriage is not
The
polygamy.
new when Dean C 131 was written, that was concerning
No,
polygamy.
that is not
Brigham
the only.
taught.
That is not the only meaning of that, and everyone knows this.
There.
There is a difference between the new and everlasting covenant of marriage.
I know it's not the only
and
meaning,
polygamy.
but we
Because
both
here's
know
thing.
the new
Adam
and everlasting
so
covenant.
Adam
Okay,
and Eve-
one at a time. Hold
so
on.
Adam and
In the
Eve-
new
One
and
at a time.
everlasting covenant, as taught from Brigham Young, I'll even say Joseph. I'm going to throw everyone in bone here. To McKay or so was always about plural wifery, whatever you want to call it.
No, it wasn't. So what it was about.
Do you think DC
and
131
I know
is about
this because
monogamous
I can
marriage?
Find the quotes from the other general authorities. I think it was Wilford Woodruff who explicitly said that we never thought that polygamy was necessary to receive. That was never a unified. It was an opinion of some leaders. But here's the thing.
leader, though.
Adam and Eve. So Adam.
Brigham
couldn't
taught
receive
this
exaltation.
explicitly
So
over and
Adam,
over again.
because Adam was only married to Eve, he couldn't receive exaltation.
Well, Adam was already exalted. He was in heaven on earth before the concept of marriage was even brought to the planet Earth.
So Adam never had to be exalted.
Adam was walking with God without sin. He already was living in a form of exaltation.
He entered into mortality,
and it wasn't good enough because he was alone.
And he could only be exalted if, and him and his wife is Eve exalted.
Yes, Adam and Eve were exalted. Yes,
okay, very good. They're the ideal model that was there from the very beginning in the temple ceremony, and it was one couple.
But you got to admit,
the Book of Mormon
hold on, but Adam, don't you
Quaku,
think he was? Wait.
The Book of Mormon, which was written before the Doctrine and Covenants, condemns plural marriage and says it's only there as an exception.
Can't you admit?
I know. I now you've turned to Jacob Isbell. Now I'm debating Jacob Isbell. Okay.
No. What I'm saying is it's very clear. All of this stuff can be reconciled simply.
No, but Jacob, even you have to admit, Adam was a little gay.
Okay, all right. Never. I thought you were about to make a poignant point.
He was halfway naked.
Okay. Oh, jeez, Louise.
It was kind of a little Church of Martini with the fig leaf.
Okay.
You know,
I'm not trying to overtake
Pono,
your card, but Jacob.
I honestly, be as gay as you want, do all that kind of stuff. My issue isn't with Pono or any other gay person. My issue is this: don't come into the church, the church is the club of the people who want to go to the highest level of the celestial kingdom and be exalted. We're not the telestial or terrestrial kingdom club. Hold on.
According to you, though,
there are requirements to get there, and what he is doing is creating confusion by saying you don't actually have to get married to a woman in order to be exalted.
Wait, when you say
Sherry Dew is one of the most important female leaders in the church, unmarried.
You are part of the group in the church who believe that one day it will change, and this is all like
hold on.
race.
Okay, hold on. Okay, we know where you stand, Jake.
We know too many things are being thrown left and right here.
Yeah, you're right. But my only issue with what you just said, Jacob, I totally agree with you that I think the scriptures are clear on sexual ethics in the church. That's just obvious. To ignore that, you have to do mental gymnastics. But I don't think, contrary to how LDX has kind of framed this, I don't think Pono was being an activist. I think what happened is he agreed to put his name and his face on a post, and
yeah, the church reached out to him, and it's the church's fault because the people in the PR department didn't vet him to see that he's actually a raging homosexual activist.
I don't think a guy with 957 Instagram followers qualifies for.
No, it isn't about the size of his following.
I've got to chime in. I've got to chime in here.
The guy
Jacob
literally wears a shirt that says "I struggle with same-sex attraction" on his gay pride brand, where he has a scripture case and he plays church music while he's showing Boy Scouts kissing each other.
So let's
just be real, guys. Like, let's just be honest about what's going on
being real. I am being real. I'm saying, okay, so he's obviously a fashionista. He has a personal brand. Let's just say his takes were bad, and we just ceded completely your argument that his takes were completely bad.
They are bad. That's not that's ridiculous.
Sure, fine.
You're a member of the church promoting Boy Scouts making out with each other.
I get that. I'm going.
Jacob, you can't say.
I'm going somewhere with this.
You can't say, go be gay, do whatever you want to do, and then 2 minutes later say, they let a raging homosexual be present on the church's page.
In the church. Hey, that's like saying, it's like that. Here, imagine this, Kwaku. Imagine we're all part of the Abraham Lincoln is the greatest president in the world club. Okay, let's just say that that's the case. And we're all in this club, and all of a sudden someone comes in and is like, I actually want to be a member of the club, but I think Abraham Lincoln wasn't the greatest president in the world.
It's a bad comparison because we don't follow the church of heteronormativity.
No, yes, we do.
We follow the church of Jesus Christ,
hold on,
who we don't even know if he was married.
Exactly the problem.
We don't know if Jesus was married.
Our entire theology is built around the family. The family is a husband, a wife, and a child.
And that is the fundamental difference right here in the argument.
You're right.
I
You're
believe
wrong, because that's what the prophets
church
teach.
is built
that's what
entirely
the
around.
Teaches. That is what the
It's
doctrines
the ministry
of,
of Jesus Christ.
You don't understand our doctrines.
Okay,
the ministry of Jesus Christ.
Okay.
Wait,
I gotta do a couple things.
I gotta run home
thought,
here. Okay.
Jacob, let him finish.
Okay.
And then we're gonna jump.
Our church is built around the ministry and the doctrine of Jesus Christ, as taught explicitly by Jesus Christ in the New Testament and in the Book of Mormon. Okay. Our doctrine on marriage, which is
also canonized scripture, and the prophet Joseph Smith and the Restoration.
The issue with that is our doctrine on marriage is still undefined. We don't know how exaltation works in the eternities, but we know how the commandments of Christ always work here on earth.
We do know
so
why
when you
gender
place
was
marriage first and heteronormativity first, you lose the teachings of Jesus.
Kwaku, let's go to Jesus then. Why did Jesus say that gender existed?
Because it does.
No. He answered that question. He said, for this reason shall a man leave his father and mother. It says, for this reason, or a man. Let me find the scripture real quick.
Yeah, for this reason shall a man leave his father and mother and cleave unto his wife. Yeah, I know the scripture.
Yeah, no. He said, for this reason, God created them male and female. My question is Kwaku, why does gender exist? Why did God create gender, according to Jesus?
Well, I don't think he's answering why God created gender. He's giving the commandments of what you're supposed to do
to lead and start a family.
No,
let's actually read the scripture.
Which, by the way, ironically, is the scripture that the Baptists use to quote how eternal marriage isn't real.
I'm quoting
eternal ceilings aren't real.
This isn't foreign from Jesus. He said, in the beginning, God created them male and female.
Adam and Eve.
Hold on one second. I'm just pulling it up. So if everyone wants to turn to Matthew 19, 4 through 6, he says, have ye not read that which he made at the beginning? He made them male and female. And then he says this, he says, for this reason, or for this cause, shall a man leave his father and his mother and cleave unto his wife, and they shall twain be one flesh. He's saying the reason God made male and female is so that they can be joined together as one. That's why it exists.
First,
so Kwaku, my question is what do you think gender is for?
Jacob,
why do we exist as males and females?
He's responding to the Pharisees asking about divorce. This isn't a Jordan Peterson-y. Let's define marriage.
There's nothing
gender,
Jordan
Jesus.
Peterson-y about it.
He's talking about divorce, why you shouldn't get divorced.
About divorce, he's saying, look, you shouldn't be getting divorced. He's saying the reason you shouldn't be getting divorced is because the very
He's not saying two gay guys can't be in love. He's not saying that.
That's not what he's saying. He's saying there's a reason that God created them male and female. He said, God created them male and female And for that reason, they're supposed to be joined together. It's in the very nature of being male and female that they're supposed to be united. That is what he's teaching. That teaching is then echoed in the Doctrine and Covenants and in all the doctrines of the Restoration,
Jacob,
and
is
in
Sherry
the Family
Dew sinning?
Proclamation, which all go contrary to what you're saying.
If you're being sophomoric, is Sherry Dew sinning, Jacob?
Is Sherry Dew sinning?
Yes. She's almost 80
sense?
years old and has never been married and has refused to get married.
Well, she
Yeah, she should get married. I think she has not reached the fullness of her potential, and she will not be able to be exalted unless she enters into a male-female union. That is our doctrine.
And right here, this is where we have to have a full-on Kwaku Jacob
I know you
debate
don't
on these
like
things
it. It isn't popular, but that's the doctrine.
Okay,
here's the issue with this.
But we also have to be careful how we say that, because our doctrine also does understand that there's an eternity to catch up on these things.
Correct, 100%.
It's like,
I don't think people are going to hell forever because
like,
they don't get married.
Jacob,
I would diversity read a little bit before you say stuff like that.
Oh, you want DEI in the church, do you, Cardin? Yeah. Look, Jacob, I love our doctrine. I'm saying I think you're overemphasizing certain parts and you're leaving out the really important parts.
You don't believe our doctrine about the purpose of gender and eternity, which is explicitly laid out in the Family Proclamation and by Jesus himself.
Wrong. I believe our doctrine as much as it's expressed. So you believe that male and female is an essential part of our nature, as much as it's expressed in writing. The issue is we do not know the functionality of how sealings work in the eternity. And you cannot go and say, here's our doctrine, without knowing how the sealings actually work.
But we do know other things.
Okay.
Do we know?
We don't know the prime focus of it.
Gender exists?
We don't know if sealings are to bring everybody together in heaven in one giant family, or if they're to create spirit babies.
We're going to take a break. We're going to take a break for some super chats real fast.
Wait, one last thing. Here is the one thing I want to say, though. I have to get this out. Okay.
But this is all about one dude doing fashion in New York.
Talk about but we don't know. Well, we do know some things. We know this. We know that all human beings are created in the image of God. Each is a beloved son or daughter of heavenly parents, and as such, each has a divine nature and destiny. Gender is an essential characteristic of individual, premortal, mortal, and eternal identity and purpose. In other words, there is a purpose behind us having a gender. What is the purpose of that? It's so that male-female unions can be formed, because that is where you reach your highest potential and can be exalted according to Doctrine and Covenants.
You are reducing us to being a fertility cult, and that's not what we are.
No, we're a sci-fi fertility cult.
We sort of are. We're a cult built around the creation of families and the joining together of families into eternity.
Then why didn't Joseph Smith say that? Why did he say Jesus Christ is our focus and everything else is an appendage?
Cardinellis is going to step in.
You just don't like Doctrine and Covenants 131.
Okay, hold on.
I love the Doctrine and Covenants. I don't think you're reading it to
we got to go back to the subject.
It literally says you can't be exalted without marriage.
Jacob, please. Okay, please. We got to go back to the subject at hand here. I think it's great y'all want to relitigate homosexuality, exaltation, and all of that, okay?
There's nothing to litigate. The scriptures are clear.
Okay, you're right. The scriptures are clear.
One man, one woman. But sometimes one man and one woman and another woman and another woman and another woman.
Sometimes one woman.
Sometimes it's a war bride.
Sometimes
she can be 13 if it's Mother Mary.
Hold on a second. You guys, hold on just 1 second. At the end of the day, okay?
Sherry Dew's not going to heaven.
We're not.
I'm kidding.
We're talking about Pono here. And we're talking about this specific post, okay? Now, my only issue with this is I kind of feel bad for Pono. Not because, he's gay and we need to be nice and gays and the church is totally bigoted and Jacob Hanson's a problem. No, actually, I don't think he is.
Because he's used as the mascot right now for this debate, which is unfair to him because he never asked
my issue is when people
Hold on, let me finish. Let me just finish my sentence. I let you guys go at it for like 20 minutes, okay? The reason why I take issue, and we'll do Jacob first and then we'll do Kwaku, because I've already been arguing with Kwaku for 30 minutes. Jacob's new kid on the block in the live stream. The only reason why I kind of take issue with the framing of Pono as like some raging LGBTQ activist is because I kind of think Pono didn't really seek this out. He agreed to put his name and his face on a post. And I think, sure, church office building should have done more of its due diligence. But at the end of the day, it's not like Pono said on some live stream with the church, hey, also check out my brand. It's not like he said some self-promotional verbiage in what he submitted to the church's Facebook page that would point people towards his activism, like maybe we've seen in some other things. He literally just did give his opinions germane to the social media account he was going to be on, the church's social media account, and then the internet did what it does, and figured out everything else he was attached to. I kind of feel bad for Pono in the sense that I feel like he's getting a level of scrutiny he did not sign up for, which then creates an optical situation where people scrutinizing his brand and scrutinizing whatever, whatever, I don't want to say situation, whatever balance he struck between living in the real world and the gospel of Jesus Christ is now under so much scrutiny that he didn't really sign up for, so much so that he can't, like, people can see why they think a bunch of hyper conservatives are coming out of the woodwork in order to, quote, persecute him.
This is not a conservative issue. Sexual ethics are not about conservatism.
Okay, fine.
Are you saying that people that are liberal don't have sexual ethics?
Okay, no, that's
that are Christian.
That's of course that's not what I'm saying. But I'm saying.
And why'd you bring up conservatives? This isn't political. Because this is moral.
That's how I was using a colloquialism. If you want me to use a different colloquialism, let me start this.
We should use a different colloquialism. We should call it people that are morally aligned and morally disaligned.
Okay, sure. However, I think, for example, there's plenty of things like Jim Bennett's brought this up before. He says, "Oh, I hate it. You probably think I'm a cafeteria Mormon." I'm like, "Bro, I'm a cafeteria Mormon." I think we're all kind of cafeteria Mormons. Maybe that's the thing.
That's a huge problem, by the way.
Yeah, it is. But also Paul said,
no, it's a massive
sinners.
problem. That's the whole point. The point is for us to be one in Christ and totally committed to his vision and willing to die for it.
Yeah, I know. But like, I also admit I need to up my commitment in a ton of crap, so much so that I feel a little bit unable to point the finger too much. And so maybe that's my own spiritual weakness. But all I'm saying is, well, let me finish. All I'm saying is that I can see how I don't think Pono signed up for the level of scrutiny he's gotten enough that the soundbite lands with people that are unfamiliar with the bloggernacle, that people are coming after Pono. They're able to create a victim narrative because I don't think he did anything to instigate the level of scrutiny. I think maybe if he were wiser about how the internet works, and if the church office building were wiser about how the internet works, this could have been avoided. But I do kind of feel bad for Pono because I feel like he's getting painted as an activist when maybe he wasn't really. Does that make sense?
Okay, no, it doesn't. Let me explain why. It's fairly simple. When you are creating a brand as a Latter-day Saint around promoting homosexual behavior and morally legitimizing it, there's one of two possibilities. Either you don't understand our doctrine, or you're deeply confused because people like Kwaku have given you the idea that maybe this is all going to change one day.
Good job gassing up Kwaku with his audience.
You know what the doctrine is, and you think the doctrine is wrong, and you think that you can create social pressure to change it.
Okay.
And now here's the thing: this is someone who is claiming to be an active Latter-day Saint who partakes of the sacrament every Sunday.
That's fine.
Yet he promotes actively behavior that is clearly and explicitly condemned by the church.
Okay, so
as morally, deeply morally wrong.
Yeah, it's condemned until it isn't. This is Eugene England and Bruce R. McConkie all over again.
And that's the thing, Kwaku. You don't actually believe that. You don't believe what our doctrine actually is, because you think it's false, and you think it will then change eventually. And that's what this comes down to. This is why I go back to sort of the core of it. The core of it is this: in our church, we have people like Kwaku who don't believe what the prophets are actually saying. They say this will not change. They say it explicitly over and over and over. They reinforce the doctrine of the family.
Okay.
And then we have people in the church
Jacob, the issue
who
is
are creating
I've learned from our
confusion and
history.
division amongst the members to try and get us to say, oh, but
but that person that's creating confusion and division to me is less the Ponos than the crisis of middle management that we have in the church. Because, for example, even Brittany, my wife, says, okay,
look,
well, what about
the person who lets the people into the gates? The person who opens the gates to the activists, they're both guilty.
Hold on.
The people who should be manning the gates and the people who let them that are coming in.
Jacob, I know when you've cut me off, and I will just keep saying Jacob until I get my time back.
Then I need to respond.
Then you can respond too.
Okay.
All right?
I got to go soon, by the way.
Okay. I'm sure I'm sure the liberals in this live stream are very grateful. They're like, oh, finally. Is great. Now I freaking forgot.
Let me respond.
Say what you want to say, Quaker. Dang it.
The issue, Jacob, is I've learned from our history, and we need to not have so much hubris where we can't look at the issue of the church engaging on these issues of social liberties and social rights without taking our history into context. Our prophet, Brigham Young, at one point taught...
I know it better than you, probably.
Okay, all right.
I made a
prophet taught at one
Joseph
point
Smith's life. I'm working on Brigham's right now.
But you don't know about Kwaku Walker Lewis.
Okay. But, sure, okay, you're don't pull a James White, okay? I've been researching this for years, Jacob. So, look, here's the thing. Brigham Young taught if a black man and white woman mix their seed, they should be on the spot.
Yeah, that's
he taught
contradicted by the scriptures.
Ridiculous, yeah. Okay. Thank you. We agree. Our church
so the scriptures
had a
can give us
specific
guidance.
teaching
let him
for
finish,
generations and generations and generations. Joseph Fielding Smith said it's taught in the book of Abraham. It's taught in the Old Testament. Black people are cursed. It's scriptural. How could anybody not understand this as clear as day until Spencer W. Kimball realized, actually, they're wrong. So what's happening right now? You've got Christian scholars of all faiths coming together, having this debate on, does the Bible actually say this regarding homosexuality, or have we got it wrong? And I'm saying, are we witnessing the same debate we've already had? Does God want gay people to be alone or marry someone they're unattracted to? Does God like the amount of LGBT people that are depressed and suicidal in the church? Or do we need to come together and have this conversation? Pause. And because it is clearly being socially litigated in the church right now, because there are many gay people in the church who are married and the church is actively not excommunicating them while they're gay and married, that tells me, pause, let's see what happens, but we definitely shouldn't target, pinpoint, and harass people who are gay. We should definitely lean with the Beatitudes first. Love your neighbor. We don't know the fullness of our doctrine on sealing or marriage.
It's also, but in Jacob's defense here, because I've defended you a lot here. I'm going to defend Jacob now. In Jacob's defense, I think it's unfair when people lampoon and say he's targeting, pinpointing, and harassing, Pono, for simply just saying, hey, hold on a second here. Like, this, all right, I can see why an average reasonable person would take issue with Pono's brand without being a bigot.
Can I ask one question?
And then if the church wants to highlight this person.
The problem is this. Pono can do whatever he wants, okay? But you can't come into the church and do whatever you want. Do you think you can't make covenants with Jesus Christ?
Do you think Pono should be disciplined, Jacob?
On the remember, right now the bottom line is this. Kwaku is trying to convince everyone that our prophets are wrong.
No, I'm not. I'm reading our history.
That's not true.
I'm reading our history.
No. Hold on, Kwaku. What did our prophets say about the change our changes in our doctrine to marriage? What did they say?
The same thing McConkie and Fielding said, and they were wrong.
Okay, and they were wrong. Okay, see that? Kwaku is
because you can learn a lot more about what someone doesn't say.
Maybe our prophets. He's trying to say maybe Russell M. Nelson is wrong. Maybe President Oaks is wrong.
Why isn't President Oaks going and excommunicating all the gay married members of the church right now?
See, and that's the thing. See, right now,
do you not believe we can learn context and take information from what people aren't doing?
Wait, hold on.
That's fine. Everyone can see what's going on here. This
hold on.
is my point.
I don't
we
think
have a large contingent in the church who are on Kwaku's side, who want to try and create social pressure, confusion, and doubt.
I'm not
because
creating pressure.
Hold on,
I'm
hold on,
examining
hold on,
it how
hold
it
on.
is.
Wait, Kwaku, hold on a second. I got this one. I don't think it's fair to say Kwaku's trying to create confusion. The person that's creating confusion that we don't talk about often enough, like I don't like it when people say that you are a big fat bigot because you come out and you say, hey, wait a second, what's going on here? Things that need to be addressed aren't getting addressed. Just like I don't like it when you say the Kwaku, oh, he's the one trying to create confusion. No, the people that are creating confusion in our church are the niceness culture, mid-level management idiots that refuse to touch hot button issues thinking they're going to go away.
Yeah, we should be really clear like the brethren, and they should tell people like Kwaku that they're wrong because this is the doctrine. This is what our church teaches.
Okay,
and when
Jacob,
someone
Jacob, hold on a second. Jacob,
what?
just stop. Let's just say you're right. And the mid-level management of the church should be confronting Kwaku for his wrong think, his incorrect doctrine, his improper activism. For his false doctrine.
Publicly promoting things that are false.
I wouldn't say publicly
and not
promoting.
accepting what the
Jacob, okay, good. Let's just say that you're right. Mm-hmm. And so why isn't our church, if not a deep crisis of middle management in our church, why aren't they approaching
but see, here's the thing. We're
why
trying to say,
aren't they
who's more
approaching
guilty?
Charlie Bird's stake presidency
who's more guilty?
and a bishopric, celebrity D, E, and F that are all in the same situation?
So who is more guilty? The person who enters the gate to take the castle, or the one who opens the gate for them? The reality is they're both guilty. And my point is that we need to confront both.
No,
Jacob,
but one's a leader.
One's a leader
with the priesthood.
I gotta respond here. I gotta respond here. So we can enter into the monologues.
When you're trying to undermine clearly established doctrine by the Savior himself on the reason that gender exists, that is totally tied up in our doctrine.
Okay, Jacob, I'd be very
Jacob,
you gotta be Jacob, you gotta be careful with language like that because that's how we ended up embarrassed about our history the first time. Emily Bell Freeman, close friends with Charlie Bird, most powerful woman in the church right now, clearly hasn't gone to say, "Hey, let's excommunicate these people."
Emily Bell Freeman,
wait, let me finish.
Them buying a child from a woman?
Let me finish.
Let me finish.
When you are examining a situation as complex and tender as LGBTQ inclusion within our church, you have to look at what people are saying and look at what they're not saying. You have to look at action and inaction where there supposedly should be action. So it is reasonable for any person to look and say, I have noticed that across the world in our church, married couples who are gay are no longer being excommunicated. They are allowed to sell their books at Deseret Book and various other places. You're allowed to have podcasts where you can go on speaking tours saying that gay love is totally fine. Within our church, the brethren know about it. The female leadership know about it. So I'm saying, maybe we should swallow some humble pie
seem confused,
and
Kwaku.
wonder maybe something
about
could
it.
be changing and is coming. And since there is confusion, the safest thing to do is to lean on the Sermon at the Temple and the Sermon on the Mount and the Beatitudes. Don't lean with overt criticism, but lean with
don't lean
love.
on Doctrine and Covenants. The Doctrine
leaning
and
on
Covenants,
your interpretation of the Doctrine and Covenants regarding the
or
doctrine
the
of marriage, which is incomplete by your own admission.
Apostles and Prophets today.
Okay,
Kwaku,
you got 30 seconds to respond, and then I'm going to ask a question.
Does exaltation create spirit babies, Jacob?
That's an unknown.
Well, Brigham Young thought so.
But
and
here's
taught
the
the entire doctrine of marriage based on that subject.
Why don't we go to what we do know? We do know, let me read again. In the celestial glory, there are 3 heavens or degrees, and in order to obtain the highest, a man must enter into this order of the priesthood, meaning the new and everlasting covenant of marriage. And if he does not, he cannot obtain
except
it.
for Alvin Smith, right? Except for Sherry Dew, except for all these people that still will be there and didn't enter into those covenants,
okay,
right?
Cool.
None of those
that's what I'm saying.
Time's up. I got to read some super chats, and then I'm going to ask I'm gonna ask Kwaku a question here.
I gotta roll though. I actually came into this just kind of because I had to, because I saw you guys were talking smack, and I have to run. I actually have something else I gotta go do.
Okay.
You guys rock. Hey, Kwaku, I know we disagree about stuff. Love you like a brother.
Okay.
We'll have more fights another time.
It's all right. We all love Jacob. Okay.
All right,
See you, man.
Would you say, before I read these super chats and I'm pulling them up right now, would you say it's fair, Kwaku? And I guess, I'll try and represent maybe, I don't want to say Jacob's position, but the position of the more conservative members.
Can I get a point though? When you were like, Jacob, I can tell you're using the woke school language, and I was like, I don't think he is, and he's like, yeah, no, Carton, I'm not. This is exactly what I believe. Can I get some freaking brownie points for calling it?
I noticed that. But
you were trying to dig him out of a well, and he was like, no. Hand me that shovel. Hand me that shovel, Carton.
Oh, you're brutal, man. You're brutal. I would say this though, I don't think it's just bigotry and anger that gays exist. And tell me if you're sympathetic to this argument.
Are you too zoomed in by the way on your screen?
That's you. That one's not up.
Okay.
That screen right there. That's actually the Zoom screen, and it's not up until I flip it over.
Okay.
So anyway. I love the Boy Scouts of America. Even after the church withdrew its participation formally, I volunteered for years as the district roundtable chair in Los Angeles because I was so committed to the mission statement of the Boy Scouts of America. I saw how it took young men into adulthood in a unique way that is deeply important and worth my volunteership. Right? And what I get tired of is that my buddies like Jacob, who I mostly agree with, but oftentimes don't. My church that I mostly agree with, but sometimes don't. Okay? The conservatives on this unique social issue, who I generally often agree with, but sometimes don't agree with the execution. In this church versus gays argument, all right, let's just say these two groups, the church is always having to defend itself for its views, its actions, its policy, its this and that, and it's always under an insane amount of scrutiny, and there's always so much anger and incoming this direction, but nobody ever thinks, what can the gay community do to be a peacemaker in this? Like what could the Ponos of this world, what could the gay brands of this world, what could this half of the equation do? And for example, me, as a person that loved the Boy Scouts, I also love my gay members in my ward. And I love them enough that if there was something that was going to be misrepresentative of them or was going to be just optically bad, I would generally avoid it. Isn't it fair to say, you know what, dear gay community in the Church of Jesus Christ of Latter-day Saints, the Boy Scouts of America was utterly ruined because of two toxic activist groups. Feminists who demanded entry into the Boy Scouts of America and literally lambasted every single person that said, hey, wait a second, but this is for boys. It serves their unique needs. It's the nature of the program. They were utterly lampooned as nothing but misogynist bigots. Okay, that and the gay community. Taken down by on just pedophile cases. And I'm sorry, the vast majority of them were not heterosexual or heteronormative, but were homosexual, and activism from the homosexual community until finally it became just an untenable relationship. And now the Boy Scouts of America is ruined, frankly, because it doesn't have the funding of the church. So my beloved organization that I graduated from and that I even volunteered for outside of my church calling is now kind of been destroyed in large part because of gay activism. So if we're trying to be peacemakers here, both as members of the church that are straight and members of the church that are gay, it would behoove the straight members to try and speak on this issue as you demand with some kindness and some sensitivity. But doesn't it behoove the gay community to say, maybe because our activists took down the Boy Scouts, and I get that they weren't the Mormon gay activists, they were the secular gay activists, maybe we shouldn't have Boy Scouts kissing on our t-shirts.
No. And
Is that you don't think
just,
that's fair?
No, I don't think it's fair because that letter, dear gay community, where's that letter going? Where are the headquarters?
So, but that's not
dated?
fair because now you're saying because they are more decentralized. Then
There's no such thing as central leadership for people with immutable characteristics. That's like, who's the leader of the blacks in America?
Well,
it doesn't
they all,
exist.
for example, I have a gay family member that says I go by the Human Rights Campaign. And I go on the list of the Human Rights Campaign.
Okay, you know one gay guy that goes by the HRC.
No, actually, it's a lesbian. And
okay.
also,
you know one lesbian who goes by the HRC.
No, I'm using an example, an anecdotal example.
Right.
You asked for where's some centralized leadership. Oh, well, there's one right there.
The centralized leadership, not some. The centralized leadership for Latter-day Saints, for members of the Church of Jesus Christ of Latter-day Saints, is Temple Square in Salt Lake City.
So are you saying that the gay community will forever not hold any responsibility due to just kind of inherent decentralization?
My issue.
Meanwhile, the church will be just lambasted ad nauseum and criticized, and the criticism towards the church is okay simply because we have a priesthood? That's not fair.
It's absolutely fair because the one thing Mormons have in common in regard to this subject is we have central leadership that we all adhere to. Gay people, by virtue of being gay, are not just a part of some group. And if you psychologically...
Wait, come on. No, that doesn't make sense. Gay people, just by nature of being gay, aren't part of a group. They're part of the gay group.
Well,
I'm Mormon.
Are
but
you
inherently, whether I like it or not...
Who's the leader of the white people, Carden?
I'm associated...
Who's the leader of the white people?
Oh, Taylor Swift.
Okay, sure. Exactly. It's just because you're white doesn't mean you're now all a part of some groupthink organization. It's nonsense.
Yeah, but to admit
so to say,
that,
the gay community needs to take responsibility. What are you talking about?
But communities exist. Leaders arise. There is a natural hierarchy that develops, and to say that there's not...
Who is the leader then?
Within the gay community, I say there's influencers and a hierarchy just like there is within the unofficial church. To say that there's no leaders in the gay community, get real.
Yeah, the issue
there's
with that...
people who could speak up and could use their position of leadership responsibly in order to be peacemakers, and they're not. On this show, for example...
So what, you want Pete Buttigieg to come forward and apologize about what they did to
No, because he's too short and he couldn't reach the podium, but maybe a taller...
Okay. See, the issue with this, when it comes to implementation, I think it falls apart. And the other issue is, I'm very dubious of asking a group united on nothing but immutable characteristics to change behavior or do this. You can go find a Nick Fuentes live stream where the guy will be like, all we're asking is for Jews to change this in their community. It's like, what? What do you want, an email blast?
The Jews.
Yeah, like you want an email blast? Now all Jews are responsible for what you think this thing is bad? How are they all supposed to communicate together? The church literally can send an email to every Mormon in the world. So it's I don't think they compare. And just because you're a little upset, okay, I wish the Boy Scouts were here. They're not here. There's a lot of controversies. Many of those controversies have to do with the LGBTQ.
It's more than a little bit upset. I mean, there is a marked difference, and you yourself noticed this over dinner. There's a marked difference in our church between the young men that were raised with the Boy Scouts programs, with the Boy Scout of America programs, and those that weren't.
Okay, the church can bring it back.
Yeah, and again, we have a crisis of mid-level management in our church.
Church wanted to create their own version.
It's true. They could.
The church could have its own little league sports leagues going on.
It could have its own homeschooling. It could have a lot that it doesn't.
We literally can have our own government going in a day if we wanted to. Okay,
yeah.
So
our own paramilitary group. I've advocated for that before.
I don't know. But so anyway,
well, then, I
don't think it's a fair comparison. No.
Okay, you can say it's not a fair comparison, but you said earlier that you think we bear as members of the Mormon community, we bear as members the responsibility to address this, quote, sensitive topic with as much kindness and empathy as we can, correct?
Well,
do we bear that responsibility? Okay.
Yes, yeah.
What's the responsibility that you feel the gay community within Mormonism, of which I would consider Pono a member, what's the responsibility that you feel they bear?
Exact same. Approach the conversation with empathy and respect.
Okay. Would you feel that Pono's engagement commercially with the conversation through his brand, the Church of Martin, which obviously is marketed towards Mormons, It's using partially towards Mormons, I should say, not to Mormons, but in part, it's using Mormon nomenclature, Mormon verbiage, Mormon imagery, so on and so forth. Would you say that he is approaching the topic as a gay Mormon with respect, kindness, and empathy?
Well, first, I don't think he was approaching the topic. I think he was thrown into the debate unwillingly. So
okay, that's
bad
fair.
example. I would say use a different example.
But would you say that this?
I would say a better example is Charlie Bird, and Charlie Bird is doing exactly that.
Okay.
Probably the most influential LGBT member of the church in the world is Charlie Bird right now, and I would say he is doing exactly that.
Okay. Exactly. Approaching it with
the conversation with yes, yeah.
Okay.
He's not posting, "Oh, these apostles are evil and bad." He's not doing that. So I think he's doing his job. He's doing that correct.
Okay, I'd actually say we give criticism where criticism is due and credit where credit is due. I would say I do give Charlie Bird a lot of credit, and I do think that our culture, at least in North American English-speaking Western America, I'll speak North American culture in general, I would say, because I do want to be specific. Whether we like it or not, in the words of Gavin Newsom, whether you like it or not. Actually, that was Trump.
That was Trump. That was not Gavin Newsom.
Gavin Newsom. Well, actually, if you look at his original clip of whether you like it or not, it was very Trumpy. But anyway, whether you like it or not, there's going to be some drastic cultural changes because of the secularized world that we live in which gayness, transness, alternative lifestyles, as we used to call them in the 90s, become increasingly common and normalized around us, whether we think it's moral or immoral or not. And if we want to live as members of the Church of Jesus Christ of Latter-day Saints, fulfilling our baptismal covenants to mourn with those that mourn and comfort those that stand in need of comfort, to live out the Beatitudes, we're going to have to try and figure out some very hard and very fast, uncomfortable ways to deeply incorporate gay couples, gay partnerships into our culture, which is not our doctrine, but our culture, without violating doctrine. And sometimes that seems like there's square pegs that got to fit in circular holes. And it's up to us to very prayerfully try and figure that out, because these are children of God too that need the same balm of Gilead that only Jesus Christ can offer. And we have to be okay with cafeteria Mormons. There's going to be
everyone's a cafeteria Mormon.
Everyone's a cafeteria Mormon. I get that. So my frustration is I feel like you are more committed to making that happen. I am more committed. Dare I say even Jacob Hansen is more committed to making that happen than the average mid-level management, priesthood holder, and church employee, oftentimes of a very specific generation, in our church. And that's what causes the anger and the division that we're dealing with on this podcast right now. Not necessarily the Ponos, not even the Jacob Hansens, not the Kwakus, not the Cardons. It is the crisis of mid-level management that we have in our church that is not doing a better job of prayerfully resolving these issues. They're the leaders.
I mean, I see where you're coming from, and for sake of live streaming, I'm okay with ending it there.
Okay.
But I mean, I think it's very easy to interpret doctrine at your own will, pretend it is what the official doctrine of the church is, and then criticize others for not living up to or embracing your personal, theological extrapolations. And
fair enough.
I think that's what Jacob was doing. He's like, well, this is the doctrine. It's a doctrine. We don't know what.
Oh yeah, but you do it too, bro. I do it.
Yeah, but I don't.
Look. When I'm prophet, all braces mandatory. Redheads can only be in the UK.
That's fair.
And I'm gonna find a scripture.
It's like, why are there gingers walking around Arizona? Are you kidding me? The worst climate ever for them. That'd be like me going to Iceland. It's like not made for me. I'm kidding. Okay, so I mean, I just feel like we need more humility on this subject, and a lot of people refuse to be real about our history. On nearly every single civil rights subject in American history, the church has been wrong on a lot and has retracted on a lot. That's the fact. And so when I look at this one, another civil rights issue, I go, maybe instead of running my mouth with a bunch of hubris and pretending I know best, I should probably take a step back and say, you know what? We got some things to figure out. So what does Jesus do? Jesus tells us, love your neighbor, leans in with kindness first. We don't know if Jesus was married. Let's be clear. We do not know if the man who is at the center and the head of our church was even married. So this whole debate around, the point of Mormonism is to get married. Did Jesus miss the memo? Did Jesus miss the memo? So it just, I do feel like this conversation.
No, he turned water into wine at his own wedding.
Well, I personally do believe Jesus was married, but our church has not made a statement on it, right?
Yeah,
People speculate.
they say that it's speculation.
I don't believe we're a fertility cult. I don't believe we're the church of heteronormativity.
Dude,
I believe
Jonah
we're the
Barnes
church of
has like
Jesus Christ.
7 kids, dude.
Yeah. Nothing wrong with having kids, but saying our church is based around having children, it's a little bit silly. It's not.
Okay.
Our church is based around Jesus Christ and his teachings. And what happens when you steer away from that and you go into bizarre territory, you end up with weird beliefs like the point of Mormonism is to have a lot of kids, and the more pregnancies you have, the better of a god you'll become.
And
you can
if
make
you
spirit
don't,
babies.
and if you don't fit the mold of young fatherhood or young
wacky
motherhood,
stuff, or if you see a cartoon of 2 Boy Scouts kissing written by a man who is gay trying to showcase art from his growing up, and you go, this is obviously an advocation of Jeffrey Epstein. It's like you're losing the plot and becoming insane. You're becoming a loony bin.
Okay,
and we
I got a
can't
question.
operate that way.
I got a question for you. So I'm sympathetic to the argument of, hey, on civil rights arguments, famously blacks in the priesthood, for example, we were behind the times.
Lamanite placement program, Native American adoptions, you can go on and on.
Actually, what's really interesting about the Indian placement program? Sturgill has a very interesting defense of that I read.
There are some beautiful things that happen there, but there's a lot of horrible things too.
No, and trust me, and there's the infantilization and the toxic paternalism, which is just annoying. And I swear, like boomers still do it. So trust me, I'm not here to defend every aspect of that. But I guess I just want to say I agree with you that we have to approach with some humility. And I'm sympathetic to parts of the argument where you say, hey, we've been behind the times before. How do we know we're not behind the times again? To a certain extent, I would say, well, time can only tell. However, when I take, for example, blacks in the priesthood, I say, hey, we actually weren't behind the times, ... Don't clip me, okay? We weren't behind the times in the Joseph Smith era. That the actual reversal of the priesthood allowance was kind of a later development by Brigham Young that stayed for 150 years. If you go back to the OG doctrine of Joseph Smith, it's obvious we should be baptizing freemen, right? Or freeman was the term that they used. So here's my question. Culturally, I don't see a reason he would have addressed the topic, because back then it was just so, quote, universally anathematized, homosexuality.
Then why did Paul address it?
But what... Because I would actually argue in North American Protestant...
No, Paul.
Well, because homosexuality was probably a lot more common in the ancient Middle East than it was.
Oh, yeah, sure.
In
Protestant. I thought that's what you were talking about. Okay.
Yeah. So I'm saying, so just like we want to skip past the 150 years of the priesthood ban to go see what Joseph Smith had to say about freemen and find out that, we shouldn't have done that. In your side of the argument, is there any quotes, any sermons, any data from Joseph Smith that would point towards your argument about...
The closest you can get is some of the work D. Michael Quinn did on gay people in the early Restoration, and I don't really buy it. Like, I don't buy that John C. Bennett was secretly out there sleeping with men and Joseph Smith approved it. I think it's kind of silly. I don't think that happened. No, I don't think it's real. It wasn't a subject anyone was really talking about. And the few gay people back in the early Americas who decided to express it was very underground, very quiet. It wasn't making it to the newspapers.
But is D. Michael Quinn still alive?
I don't know. I don't think he is.
Some of these guys I'd want to get on there. Dude, should we get Dan Vogel on the show? I found out he's a Californian. Lives right.
You can interview him. So
it's got to end it. We'll smoke weed together. Okay, no.
Yeah, you do have your anyway. So
that is not advocacy, dear YouTube algorithms. I was not advocating.
Anyway, that's my position. It's we need to be humble here and admit that we've been wrong before on many civil rights and social issues.
I think that's
and
fair.
Just pretending like we're not wrong this time. And here's the other thing. Let's say something happens where the church comes out and says, you know what, we're not going to be excommunicating gay married couples. We're not going to allow sealings, but you can be married to a person of a different gender in the church in good standing, and there's certain callings you'll be able to have. Many people will leave, and they will throw out the Book of Mormon, the Restoration, and Joseph Smith because their golden calf and their idol is straight people having sex. That's their idol, and it's weird. It's weird and creepy. Your idol should be Jesus. Period. And if something takes you off of the beaten path of the Beatitudes of what Jesus commands us to do, I think I am way more confident facing Heavenly Father, and he says, look, I didn't want anything gay to happen on earth. And I said, look, I went by the scriptures and Jesus, and I followed exactly what he said, and that's where I base it. I think Heavenly Father would be like, you know what? That's fair. As opposed to the opposite, which is, I was actually fine with gay people existing. Why didn't in being in love? Why didn't you follow what my son said? Why are you going on these tirades and cruises trying to get gay people excommunicated? Well, don't you understand? Heavenly Father, the doctrine of your internal cosmos is that so straight people can have sex and make babies. It's like, no, it's to clothe the naked, feed the hungry, help the poor. That's what I wanted you to do.
I think. If I were ingesting what you said, and hopefully I'm not creating the same error that I did with Jacob earlier. I'm like, no, he's lampooning niceness culture. You know what I'm saying? But if I were to ingest what you say and try and like repeat it, I guess you're saying we need a lot more humility across the board when we approach this issue. Gay people, straight people, and everything in between. And a good rule of thumb is to not necessarily focus from the position of the violation we see in the other person against the cultural norms that we're used to, and instead just trying to lead with, how do I view this person as a child of God, a child of God, something of the covenant, something of the, I'm a citizen in the kingdom of Christ, right?
I believe, we have to lead with humility, lead with love and inclusion first. I think that's the only answer, because the reality is we do not know the fullness of our doctrine in regard to marriage and exaltation. We don't know it. Some prophets taught that you must be sealed eternally because all humankind is going to be exalted together. Some taught you the purpose of being sealed is to make spirit babies and populate planets, okay? I think that's goofy. I don't think spirit babies are real, but some people
also
believe
as awesome. Actually, you know what's funny? Interesting. No, spirit babies, that was the big B.H. Roberts argument, and that was incorrect. Intelligences are eternal, therefore spirit birth was the incorrect. Incorrect.
Brigham Young is big on spirit babies and creating spirits. And,
yeah, but that
Joseph
was kind of, that was resoundingly, that's the Oslerites.
Right.
Filthy Oslerites.
So the question is, all right, pause. On this situation, we need to take a step back, and let's also, when you hyper focus on Jesus and you put Jesus first, not doctrine first, Jesus first, things start getting clearer. For example,
dress codes, got to wear sandals. Beards are okay.
I think less men should be wearing sandals. But Jesus, you look at his sermons and you look at his direct sermons to his disciples. Remember, he's not just teaching his followers. He's teaching people that he's telling them, you're going to go preach this word. He's absent on the LGBT question. He doesn't really address it at all. He addresses divorce and cheating. He doesn't address gay love and gay relationships, which are quite common in that area. But you know what's even more interesting? To really hone it in, when he comes to the Americas in the Book of Mormon, when all these cities get sunken underwater because they're wicked and evil and all this stuff, and he says, I'm going to give this sermon, and the Book of Mormon builds up to it, and you're like, oh, wow, there's going to be Jesus is going to come and he's going to teach some new amazing doctrine. Jesus is going to come and he's going to unveil some esoteric secrets. Jesus is going to give us the true sermon on how to be disciples. And what does he give? He repeats the same sermon he gave over in Israel, loving your neighbor, helping the poor, feeding the hungry. He gives the same sermon on this continent as he gives the other continent, and he leaves out these issues we seem to think are the most important things to debate.
Okay. We got to burn through
Very
some of these
interesting.
super chats,
Sorry,
bro.
yeah,
I'm
let's
sorry.
Let's go, yeah.
And then we are already into overtime, but hey. First super chat that we got right here comes from the Deseret Foamer. Like a foamer for termiticide? I don't know. That's kind of cool. Says, hey, this content is very obvious fetish undertones. It's not even if it was. That's a good thing. Oh, brother, get a load of this. Okay, I can't tell if he's for or against, but thank you very much for the super chat. BM Westmoreland says this conversation here should be had with Jacob here. Well, good thing we invited him. Paulie Nike says, send Jacob Hansen the live stream link in the Discord, please. Garden. Hey, gotcha. Taken care of. And then he says, Kwaku, how does LGBTQ ideology align and reconcile with Adam Eve's story in the Garden of Eden and the family proclamation as gospel doctrine elements? I think you and Jacob actually covered that real fast. Wow, it's almost like he was reading your mind. Aljest418 says, I don't think there's much to defend here. Can't see which one he's talking about there, but thank you very much for the super chat. The Chris Beasy says, we need to move on to dinosaur discussions before this stream ends.
I would love to discuss the fake dinosaurs.
Kwaku needs to elaborate hard on that one. Do you have a 2-minute version?
Yeah.
A 60-second
I'm going to drop 3
version?
pictures in the Discord real quick, okay?
Okay, and then I'll do 2 more super chats, and we'll come back to the dinosaurs. So we got Bobo, I can't read. Commenter says, I'm sending $10 to cover the cost of Jacob deleting every single paper-turning sound effect off of his computer. Oh, that's funny with the sound effects on his computer on. I don't know. Crypto Kid says, if Kwaku is not familiar with historical gay culture, grooming, he's not a credible guest, even if he's gay himself.
What was the end of that sentence? Okay.
Yeah.
First,
Hey, remember back when they thought you were Gary and RFM was trying to say you were Gary and you were
what?
gay?
What? Yeah, Mike Norton was telling people my name was Gary. And I'm like, my name's not Gary. My name has never been Gary. What are you talking about?
And that you were secretly gay.
That was weird. Yeah. Oh, and no, I was walking with my boyfriend at Costco. That was the other thing I created. Some wacky stuff.
Your pants were really tight, but not gay tight.
No, it was 2020 when skinny jeans weren't fully out yet. You know what I mean?
Exactly.
Hey, but I take issue with this though because I hear this argument all the time where they're like, black culture in America. How come black culture is represented by degenerate ghetto rap? And I'm like, the most famous black people in the world are Barack Obama, Oprah Winfrey, Michael Jackson. The leaders of the black community are all pretty phenomenal, astute, and intelligent. You want it to be Lil Uzi is the representation of black people.
Who is the most famous black person in the world?
It's Barack Obama, hands down.
You think it's President of the United States of America gets real famous
hands
real
down,
fast.
yeah. And so anyway, I get annoyed with that when they're like,
besides Barack Obama.
I toss up between
Oprah
Winfrey, Michael Jackson.
Oh, Michael Jackson, king of pop. Actually, you don't think Michael Jackson's more than Barack Obama? Because Michael Jackson's legacy, I would argue, is more enduring, especially for youth. My son listens to freaking Michael Jackson now, bro.
Well, ever since that movie came out. Yeah, I would say, I would still say Barack Obama, but I would say Michael Jackson is probably 2. Then 3, I think you can go with an Oprah, Beyonce.
You think Oprah? I think Beyonce more than Oprah because Oprah is limited to the English-speaking world.
A lot of Gen Alpha doesn't really know Oprah either.
And Beyonce though that music,
it's Beyonce.
Yeah.
And I hate to say it, but in the top 10 is gonna be Kanye West. I hate to say it. He's got some good stuff, but that HH song is not very good.
What song was that?
It doesn't matter. We're not going to mention it. We're not going to mention that song that we pretend wasn't real. Anyway, so I don't mean to be mean to this guy, but
dinosaurs.
I just don't. Oh, they're in the Discord. Look at those 4 pictures real quick.
I'm putting up the pictures in the Discord. It's 2 dinosaurs.
Just there's
kissing.
4 pictures.
No, I'm
Show the
just
first
kidding.
one.
So here's the first one right here. Okay.
You expect me to believe that this penis monster was real? You, with a straight face, are telling me that someone found a femur and now they know that 65 million years ago this was real. Go F yourself. Shut up. And when I go to the dinosaur museums, you look at the little plaque that says, oh, this is a recreation made of plaster. They don't have giant skeletons. They don't have any giant full-made skeletons of dinosaurs. They have one in North Dakota, which is the most obvious fake thing you've ever seen in your life. And then they have this. Go to the next picture here, Carden.
Okay. All right. Hold on, I'm going to the next picture here. Okay. It's a crazy, raging
Are you kidding
T-Rex.
me? You expect me to believe this Pokemon existed? You believe that they have found evidence that 65 million years ago these things were running around Canada? Shut up. Shut up. That is the dumbest thing. Let's go to the next one. Yeah, go F yourself. Are you kidding me? This half pine cone lizard was real? And then they're like,
there's this one.
oh my gosh! Are you joking? Shut up! You know this wasn't real. Look at that thing. It's like, it's so silly. By the way, here's another one. How come only archaeologists find these things? I want you to really think the amount of construction being done by Mexicans in this country. And we have one story of one guy like, hey, look at what I found. Hey, look at what I found, man. How come there's not one guy named Javier who's dug up a T-Rex skull with all the excavations happening? It's some nerdy dork from New Hampshire.
Well, how do you know
who's
it wasn't
funded by the Archaeological Association, and he manages to discover this cartoon-looking ass character? I don't believe
there
it.
was one of the greatest paleontological discoveries in Southern California was when they were doing the extension of the 405 freeway. The first example of interaction between mammoths and men and Homo sapiens was found when they were digging the 405. How do you know that a worker named Javier or Juan or Jorge
It probably
wasn't the one that found it?
It probably was. But here's the thing. We have fully preserved mammoths in ice. We don't have any of these. And it's literally, it's like, you know how long ago 65 million years is? And they have a tooth? And they go, well, obviously this was a Trigalagalleratops from 65 million years ago. Are you kidding? And then they pull this BS. They're like, you know, the indigenous people knew about these giant lizards because look at the art they have. And they show me a picture of stick figures carved on a wall with a rock that have been on the side of a cave wall for 65 million years and have never been washed away. When I took a crayon and drew it on my wall as a kid, by 5th grade, it was gone, okay? Just natural air conditioning had gotten rid of it. And you were telling... Shut up. I don't believe in... It is the fakest. And if you believe that was real, I have an igloo in Arizona to sell you.
No,
it is the dumbest thing I've ever seen.
That was too funny. One of the best 3 minutes you've ever had in this studio, my man.
Thank you.
One of the best 3 minutes in the studio. All right. So let's go back to the rest of these super chats, and man, we are deep into overtime here.
Yeah, I know. We get some angry Instagram messages.
You think you're gonna get some angry IG messages? Let's see here. I'll do. Actually, you know, we should see if the invitation to Pono is still out there. Before we end the live stream, let's see if he wants to come on. I sent him.
He's gonna message me like, "Don't ever defend me again, dinosaur denier. You made me look worse."
He's gonna be like, "No,
you freak of nature."
Thanks, but no thanks, man. You know. I'm trying to see if. Let me see. Sent yesterday. Oh, nothing. Didn't get anything back yet. So, all right. Well, we tried. We did our due diligence. Here's the rest of the super chats. Aljess418. Even if it weren't ancient scripture, modern prophets have still declared homosexual activity and same-sex relationships as sinful. Okay, that was back in that argument. Crypto Kid. Welcome to the basic Telestial ticket. Everybody would like to welcome Crypto Kid into the Ward Radio Wigwam. Please put a W in the chat. Let me see. Latter Day Dog Watcher, Dog Catcher. I know it says, point of order, DNC 131 teaches that we can go to the Celestial Kingdom in our safe condition without marriage. We just don't enjoy exaltation. It stipulates that we need marriage to gain exaltation. All right. BM Westmoreland says, can the people who reject the family proclamation just go start their own church instead of trying to change this one? Well, no, I think it's all part of the
goofy, small-minded take. It's like, well, if you disagree with the family proclamation, go start your own church. Okay, if the family proclamation, as determined by you, is what's true, how come the church isn't enforcing it right now?
Well, no, they enforce it all over the place. It's just there's definitely some celebrity members, I would say.
I'm telling you, it's not just celebrity members.
Men that break the law of chastity are excommunicated all the time. Women that break the law of chastity are excommunicated all the time. And I'd say 95% of the time it's handled in an ethical way. I just think we have a crisis of middle management.
We had a show of Mormon swingers, and none of that lasted for 4 years almost now, and none of them are excommunicated.
Okay, yeah, but also until a person actually confesses it, or the person they did it with confesses it.
You don't think confessing it to ABC to millions of people on camera?
Oh, okay, but hold on.
Here's me sleeping with my best friend's husband.
No, but then it's excommunication over hearsay. Because at the end of the day, for heaven's sakes, filmmakers that are when they promoted Poltergeist, they said that half of the sets were haunted and that like 3 people actually died on set of demonic apparitions as part of like the promotion.
You don't think it counts as a confession to say, hey, I'm a Mormon, I'm a member of this church, I'm sleeping with my friend's husband. Can you put me on a reality show based around the fact that I'm sleeping with my friend's husband? You don't think it counts as a confession, Gordon?
Okay, you're probably right. I think we have a crisis of mid-level management in our church.
I know.
Of people that are unwilling, detached from the internet, or unwilling to touch the pseudo-celebrity class in our faith.
This guy's question. They're getting mad at me for just basing my opinion based on what I'm seeing. And it's fair. Like, you know what? You want to excommunicate everybody who seems to just be looking at the table and going, this looks like steak and this looks like potatoes. Well, if you like potatoes, then move to Idaho and start a potato farm. No, I got potatoes on my plate. That's what I'm looking at. And you can be upset about that, but that doesn't change the reality. That's the thing. People legitimately cannot separate the fact that what is happening and what they want to be true are not the same. And you can live in reality or you can be upset at reality, but you can't be upset at other people for recognizing reality.
Okay, cool. So anyway, I'm going to read 5 more here really fast, then we got to go. So really quick, Latter-day Level Up says, simply can't reconcile SSA with God's plan. It's just a devotion from form and just a symptom of a fallen world that we have to grapple with. BM Westmoreland says, Emily Bell Friedman is married, has 5 kids. Oh, 5 kids. Good for her.
Cool.
Mama's Boy says, Mormon Boy Scout, Fetty, the keyword is boy, as in boys. It's not the gay that makes it wrong. My son, who is gay, called it out immediately as PDF-ish. Oh, interesting. So apparently at least there's one member of the gay community that
I think that's silly. That's the same energy as
the young man said, or what the super chatter said.
Yeah, I think the super chat. There's sort of like this neighborhood suburban mom fear, like when Monster Energy came out, and they were like, "Well, the M logo looks like 6 in Hebrew, and if you put the 6 upside down, isn't that witchcraft? Bottoms up, and the devil laughs." Have you seen the video? It went viral. Like, this thing happens where it's if you're trying to read something horrible into anything, it can be there. I think it's very clear. This is a guy making art about experiences in his childhood. When he was a Boy Scout, he probably had a crush on another Boy Scout. And if you're saying he's now trying to push pedophilia by telling a story of what he experienced, I'm sorry, I think that is bigotry. Okay. Like, you should be smarter than that. And I'm not trying to be a jerk. That is low-level thinking here.
Okay. The dude says, if anyone desires to come after me, let him deny himself and take up his cross and follow me. That includes all desires and attractions. Thinking you're right, but blank. Can't read it. Says add righteous, polygamy, and sacred concubines. Don't know where he's going with that. Speaking common sense says some expect the church to change for them. Disciples change themselves. Jesus Christ and his church. Are we learning from heaven or not? I think that's a fair take.
I agree. No, I 100% agree.
Mama's Boy says PDF over art is not okay. Ever Boy Scout Fetty BS. All in uppercase. All right.
Do they think this is a picture of a grown man kissing a little boy on the lips? It's not. That would be gross and creepy. Everyone would be like, ban this off of Instagram. It's literally the exact, like... I'm sorry.
Speaking of
that's
getting
like,
banned off of Instagram, I thought it was really funny.
do we have to ban High School Musical now?
Well,
do we have to ban Harriet the
brought,
Spy?
You brought up the point yesterday, though, that there's only been one social media app that was banned off of Apple playlists, and it was Grindr. Why was that again?
Well, okay, so in the 2010s, there was Grindr was getting threatened to be removed from the App Store because it was the only dating app in which people were putting their racial preferences in their bio. So people were putting like no Asians, no Persians.
The gay guys can get away with it.
What? And people are like, hey, look, you're allowed to have your preferences, but it's a little disrespectful if someone's swiping to see their race and say, I think everyone who looks like you is ugly. So there was too much racism on Grindr in the 2010s. And it's funny because it's like, I ain't never seen that on Mutual. I've never seen racism on the Mormon dating app. So it is kind of funny that like.
All right, that's hilarious. Okay. Dennis Schleicher is a good example of a gay member who upholds the church. Church of Martin seems to be mocking in nature, but hard to say.
Is he pulling one of the good ones?
No, I try to not impugn people's motives in as much as possible. I try and look at the width and breadth. I think there's I respect your take, and I think that there's room for people with your take, Kwaku. I also think there's room for
good gay.
People.
A good gay is just someone who pretends and doesn't act gay, and a bad gay is someone who's gay. Like that's kind of what.
No, they act very gay, but they just vote.
I'm going to replace that.
Pay the rent on
I'm going to replace that with Jewish. Look. Ben Shapiro's a good Jew. Okay, one of the bad Jews is Bernie. It's like, oh, what? Stop. Stop.
Okay, next one says.
Every time you replace it with Jewish, suddenly everybody in the room understands. Isn't that funny? Suddenly everybody gets it.
Oh, that's funny. No, I think I get what this guy's saying, though, in the sense of I don't think he's necessarily trying to commit the good versus bad version. I think what he's just trying to say is like, hey, I see this as a positive example of affirmative good behavior I'd like to see. Wouldn't you say that's a more fair take?
That's exactly what. Well, Dennis Schleicher just doesn't act on it and refuses to.
I don't know who Dennis Schleicher is.
He's a good dude. He's an author. He's an influencer. He posts a lot. He's a good dude.
Is he the guy with the blonde comb over?
Yeah. He's got that like 2010s indie pop hairstyle.
Yeah, okay. I think I know who you're talking about.
He looks like he sings it for Walk the Moon.
Okay, thank you very much. Oh, that's Sean Layton. Oh, I should have noticed that earlier. Sean Layton. Good dude. Okay, the dude, Sky Swords, is a great example of denying yourself to follow God. Sometimes the things you want are not the things that God knows you need. I agree with that. Artex Poetica says, Kwaku, please come back. We love you. Don't listen to the Jacobites. That's funny. It's the Oslerites. The Oslerites.
Well, I think it's funny because people don't realize, like, even when everyone's debating like crazy in this room, right after we all are just hanging out eating food, like it's really the core ward radio community is very much not emotionally angered by these subjects. I don't think people realize.
Or they've just learned that the gospel of Jesus Christ is more important, that we're all flawed individuals, and to give each other a lot of grace. So I'm actually very proud of all my friendships that I have with all you guys. I Golden Knight is the last one, says we don't know what the doctrine is. False. And then Canuto and Mary Lou Howarth both put in W super chats welcoming the new people into the Ward Radio Wigwam. So we'll have money for your flight back, Kwaku. We'll have money for your flight back, And the last super chat just came in right here before we go. It says, Kwaku, it's okay to be a Northern member who just believes what the prophets say. You don't always got to be way outside of the box for authenticity. However, I love your kinda gay, long, unbuttoned shirt. McKay.
Yeah, I will say this is a great subject to have this shirt on, right? It's a great look. I was limited on what's in my suitcase. It was hot as they don't realize how hot it was today. It was. We walked outside. We're sweating.
Because you're a convert and you've neither been a missionary nor a Boy Scout.
Oh, yeah. That's true. Yeah.
So you haven't been fetishized yet, bro. We gotta We gotta get a new.
Trust me. I've been on ex-Mormon Reddit. I have been fetishized. I have seen some weird stuff, man. Remember the email I got? I told you about the email I got that wanted me to audition.
Oh, that was wild.
That was weird, man.
Yeah, that was wild.
That was weird. I won't say much about it, but that was weird.
Should have done it. No, just kidding. All right, guys. Well,
let's just say a company asked me to come audition to be a mattress actress for them, and I was like,
Wow,
what?
dude. Well, you should be flattered because they wouldn't do that if you were unattractive.
Hey, I'd love to see you naked and sleep with someone on camera. You'd be down? I don't consider that to be a flattering question.
That's funny.
The normie member thing. Well, look, I think I really honestly am a normie member in so many ways, but I just feel like there are certain questions when you think about them for more than 2 seconds, you go, wait, pause, this isn't that easy as people are pretending it is. And so if we're really making the claim that the most important thing in all of the restored gospel is to get married, well, why can't we say for certainty if Jesus was married? These aren't difficult questions, and since we have these question marks, we should pause before we go and lampoon or blast people who may live a life that's a little bit different than ours.
Okay. All right. Awesome. Thank you very much, guys, for hanging out with us today. If you want to support the channel, please make sure that you consider purchasing a shirt on wardradio.com or one of our very popular War in Heaven veteran hats. We got a fresh batch. They're all available right now. Or you can contribute to the program through Venmo or Zelle. Also, we want to give a big shout out to our sponsors. Thank you very much first and foremost to Scripture Notes. You'll notice that all of the scriptures we brought up today were actually on scripturenotes.com. They help us out by providing this cool little AI database in order to quickly look up all the scriptures that will be referenced and then highlight them on the show. Thank you very much to Scripture Notes for your generous contribution to the mission statement of Ward Radio. Scripture Notes, quote, the coolest way of reading your scriptures online. Also, we got to give a big shout out as well to dinosaurs. Thank you very much, dinosaurs, for having lived and died for us.
Sure they did.
And for
you
our,
think that was real? Look at that photo. You think that was real?
It is a little bit incredulous, I admit.
The silliest thing ever.
The silliest thing ever. Also, let's give a big shout out and a big thank you to Angel Studios.
If I told you the world was
All right.
populated 200 million years ago by 30-foot tall chinchillas, you would think I was a schizophrenic.
Yeah. Well, no, chinchillas, that's actually more believable. I'd say chinchillas are more believable.
Yeah,
than
they are.
this
The
one.
most ridiculous example I can come up with is more believable than that.
Yeah. With that said, I bet you Angel Studios is really stoked that we're mentioning them right now, right after Dinosaur Denial.
Isn't it funny
You know
that all
what
the
I'm
dinosaur
saying?
movies are cartoon movies for kids, like the other fantasy movies, huh? Is that funny?
That's funny. So we'd like to give a big shout out and a thank you to our sponsor, Angel Studios, for helping keep the lights on here as well. And last but not least, we'd like to make sure that we give a thank you to, we're going to put this up, Go and Do Travel, specifically their Wave Makers cruise. Let me put that on right here. Big shout out to Go and Do Travel's Wave Makers cruise going down November 14th, November 21st, of which I will be an educator on the cruise with Ward Radio author Jonah Barnes as well. For more information on Go and Do Travel, please make sure that you guys check out their website, goanddotravel.com. So, all right, man, where can people find you if they want to follow you, bro?
You can follow me at YeahQueku on Instagram, on TikTok, on YouTube.
Okay. Also, just like my Latino friends, as they embrace their Latino heritage, begin pronouncing their names no longer as "Hi, I'm George," but they say "Hi, I'm Jorge." Are you going to stop saying "Hi, I'm Kweku" and start saying "Hey, I'm Kwaku"?
Well, it's Kweku in Ghana,
Kweku.
but Americanized is Kweku.
Oh, are you going to go back
I
to
feel like I'm more of a
Kweku?
Kweku than a Kweku.
Okay, cool.
I feel I'm more of a Kweku.
Yeah, I feel Kweku
Yeah.
better. It rolls off the tongue better.
Yeah.
So, okay, cool. Guys, thank you very much for hanging out with us. It's been real, and it's been fun, and it's been real fun. For this and more, please make sure you guys check us out at wardradio.com.
I built a rocket in my basement.